Jesus, Rosario.
Special effects for sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What's up? What's up, everybody?
I don't know where to recover from that.
How you doing, guys?
Awesome. We were talking off.
Let's splatter some blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about tonight's show. So I thank Jimmy so much for coming on, man. Like, I've been banging the table since this show started about Llamageddon. I turned tens of people onto your show, your movie, and here we are. So it's awesome that's come full circle. So thank you very much for
of course. First off, I'd like to apologize to you and everyone else that's watched the film. And then I think my second thing is how did you manage to slip it into conversations? Because I am very baffled at how anyone is able to like bring up this movie in a way that makes it sound captivating.
Man, I don't even. It's come up like on 8 shows, so it's not even like it was a one. So
it's an ongoing thing about how awesome and epic it is. Like, I don't even know. We get silly and zany. I think we've been pulled off of YouTube because we played your trailer. It's like copyright.
What?
Stuff.
That's wild. That's insane.
It was worth it though. It was totally worth it.
What were we? We were talking about just crazy, wacky shit like that we've watched, and I think the first time, and Joel mentioned Llamageddon. I was like, what? And he's like, man, it's on Amazon. I'm like, no kidding. So he sent the poster. We watched the trailer on the show, and I was cracking up, and yeah. So then, just anytime, I don't even know, like anytime he could squeeze it in, he would like find a segue. So
that's amazing.
Well, I would say the other guest that I would like to get on is Tim Capello from Lost Boys, the saxophone player for the right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, John gives me a hard time about this. He's like, dude, who the hell is? I'm like, dude, he played sax for Tina Turner. Like, get him on here, you know, like. Right?
I know. All I said was, "What are we going to talk to this guy for 90 minutes about?" He's in one scene. But
what's Tina like off stage? You know, like.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much. Just like.
I'm sure it'll be a fun time. But
yeah, what it was like favorite sandwiches? Like, what is like a weirdest food ingredient is?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like a lot of bizarre things.
Right,
guy, but he has no social like on his IMDb pro page or whatever. There's no way to contact him.
Oh,
like,
whoa, okay.
I can't find him anywhere. So I'm like,
man,
I'm sorry, man. I don't think I'm gonna get this guy. But you never know. I guess he's on Cameo. Maybe I could request a cameo and then flip that in, be like, hey, come on our show. Like right
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I was like trying to figure out. There's a couple of films that my brother and I are working on, and we were trying to figure out how to get some people in it, like. B, C, D-list celebrities, and we were thinking like, oh, well, we could potentially use people from Cameo, but of course, Cameo being very smart and us not wanting to like, get in trouble for something really stupid like that isn't like, interesting or fun. A lot of people, they actually have like 2 different tiers, as far as I remember, of Cameos, where it's like personal use and like commercial use, and it was like, oh, okay, like that's hats off to them, because that's like a good way of doing it.
When they put their like little logo in the corner too, I'm sure. I mean, you could easily.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Get that out of there, but yeah.
There's like plenty of them. I don't think Premiere has it like straight up, but there's like plenty of digital editing softwares like remove logos and stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah. I mean, that's how this all originated here, and. We were talking. I think we were offline. I don't think we were on when I mentioned when I watched it. I was just alone by myself, and I said, "Screw it," and I popped it on. And I if my wife was upstairs hearing me laugh, I was just like, because man, like I made so many like cheesy horror movies in high school and in college. Like my best friend moved out to LA after he went to film school at Keene State, and then he ended up he edited like Dog the Bounty Hunter and like stuff like that. And then he moved to New York when his dad got sick. And now he's like a freelance editor. But we used to make so many like ridiculous movies. And it just brought me back to like those times. Like we used to crack up watching them. And like, I don't know, it was like the parts where like with the llama, like kicking and stuff. That
makes me so happy. Did you ever put them out?
Oh no, heck no.
No?
No.
Okay.
They were made in the 90s, and a lot of that stuff wouldn't fly today. So I'm not
understood.
Myself.
Yeah, you're good.
So, yeah. hopefully it's not leaked somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Little old Livid might get thrown away quick if. I'm just kidding. It's not
So
not that bad. But.
I got all kinds of questions because I've seen it more times than I want to admit. How did this project come about? Like where, like take us back to like, what's this like? Did you lose a bet or like what was it?
Well, that's a very good question.
Cheers.
Next week when
Cheers. So actually at the time I was living with the director co-writer, and we'd both been doing our own kind of independent projects. Like I was making a lot of video games and I was writing some scripts, and less successfully than he was, I was trying to like make these scripts into films, but I didn't have as much of the film knowledge. But I was very much into like kind of the story structure and the script writing and the creative process, and like my short stories were being published places and all that was great. But he was very good at actually like wrangling the people together and actually shooting like things and releasing them. So we figured out that we could get scholarships or grants from the university to actually make a film, and then he went and actually secured like a bit of funding to make this film. And also, excuse me, that was a bit that was not worth it after partaking, but he actually was able to secure the funding for it, and we got a crew together and able to borrow the equipment from the university. So kind of calling in connections since we were both graduating, and we just made this thing happen over a summer in Ohio. So it was kind of a I want to say like a miracle on ice, but like one where no one knows how to actually figure skate. So it's like we did it, but then it's like, you know, it all just kind of collapses together in this beautiful postgraduate wreck.
Yeah, it is the only $1 million movie to ever be on Amazon Prime.
That was amazing. Holy crap. Yeah, I wish I could take credit, but that was actually his idea. The thing was sitting in post-production hell. So there's a lot of things that made it into the movie, because one of my big chases, and I don't want to get too way off topic, but I love these so bad it's good. Like Llamageddon's often compared to like Killer Sofa or like Velocipaster or Carousel. And these these absolutely amazing like B films. And something that I'm always chasing is, it's like, how do you make one of these films that is like achievable in like a, you know, reasonable budget, that also like has everyone like enjoying the process, and you also have a finished product that like people can enjoy and has like in jokes and things that people can kind of participate in. Like I'm really big into drinking games, but I'm sorry, I got totally sidetracked with that little like mini rant. But it was something where we ran into, oh god, okay, sorry, I have like a million little things shirting off.
No worries. Run it.
Well, I want to hear what your question is. I'm sorry, because I totally forgot. But we fired the first llama. That was something that went wrong.
Oh,
we had
wow.
to actually get rid of it. Yeah, it wasn't a show llama.
Like
it was. Yeah, well, so we had a llama, and the problem was that the llama wasn't a show llama, so it wasn't used to being around people. I forget what livestock it is, but llamas, when they're alone, are really good. I want to say sheep. So if a single llama, it's really good at protecting a herd of sheep from like wolves and things. Like it'll just kick the crap out of them. They'll go away. But when you have two llamas, they don't give a shit about the sheep. They'll just want to hang out with each other because they're llamas. So like, hey, I have friends, right? So we had one llama originally that was like kind of livestock protecting llama, and it did not want to participate. It was like really mad at us. It was like, how dare you put me in front of a camera? Like it was like spitting on everyone. And then the director actually called in a friend who had show llamas. So in the credits, we have Louis the llama, and then we have his girlfriend, which is listed as the comfort llama. So after every day of shooting, he'd just go back and hang out with his comfort llama.
The stunt llama. There was a stunt llama too.
The stunt llama.
Cookie.
Cookie. That's the one we fired. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, like, what was the name of the stunt llama on Llamageddon? I'd be like, that's Cookie. Okay.
It's Cookie. Yeah. I wonder what the guy. I was the art department, or at least I led it. So like I made those legs with like PVC pipe and like wire mesh and like paper mache, and then you put like felt and paper in and all that stuff. I should have brought them into my room. We have them in like in a shed out back
Oh
here.
man.
Oh
But,
god, I was gonna say, I hope you have some of those props still. Do you have like
We
the
do.
furry? You have the furry eggs
Yes,
still?
yes, I
Nice.
have. I think the director has one. I'm pretty sure my brother and I have one, and then we have like a third somewhere.
Please don't ever throw that. I don't care who you marry. She needs to understand. Like, throw that out.
At some point, I was hoping on like putting those up on like auction or like on a GoFundMe or something. Like what was it? Like a tier kind of like have a thing. Because I love them, they're amazing, but also like they take up space and they're just getting dusty. And I'm like, I don't appreciate them like someone else could.
Yeah.
Joel will have them on like a rack, like hanging up on his wall.
We'd be burning candles and like, that.
I'm so sorry
man.
though. I completely subverted your original question. If you remember what it was.
Oh, no, you didn't. I asked you how it started, and then
How it started? Okay, cool. I'm glad.
I just made comment about being the only $1 million Amazon film or
Right.
Prime.
Yeah. That's
Right.
where I got sidetracked from. The director came up with that because it had been sitting in post production forever, and we kept on wanting to add stuff to it, and it came to a point where they were like, "We got to just put this thing out." And it was like, "This is an amazing idea. Let's just do it now before someone else does." And that was that.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna take a hitchhiker on Joel's question.
Sure. Go ahead.
There's something I'm very curious about the film. Is I assume you took part in the selection process, the casting, and I would love to know what was the criteria. How did you guys select those type of people? Because if you go to the streets and you randomly take people to be in the film, they wouldn't be as bad.
I swear. Oh God, I swear to God, like there has to be a component to these particular films where it's like lightning strikes twice, and I mean that in like the most negative way possible. Where I mean, it's like for the funeral scene rolling up to the house. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, how the fuck did we land on using this like bizarre car for the scene? And I think it was just literally that's the way it turned out. It's like we had 3 or 4 cars, and that's the one that we happened to pile in for shooting, and we had to use it for continuity, and that's what it turned out. Most of the people for casting, it was I want to say pseudo typecast, which I know is like, it's kind of like a Hollywood thing. It's like you want people that fit the parts, but also it's like kind of a negative thing because people aren't going to be playing the roles that they may be better suited for. But also, like everyone that was in the film, they're pretty happy to be part of this thing because it's like, how often does a Midwestern college create like a feature film, like much less something that's like, oh, this is the film about llamas that kill people from space, and it's like, holy shit, right? So I think a lot of it was just like, God, it was the people that were available at the times that were available. There was a lot of deaths in the film that were shot just because we couldn't get people later for scenes we wanted them for later. So we had to come up with creative ways later on to say, okay, well, we got to kill them earlier in the film now. Like,
please tell me. So I don't mean to cut you off, but
go for it. Yeah.
The part where I absolutely lost it, and that's when I text Joel. I was like, all right, I'm reaching out to Jimmy here. Was the fucking hot tub scene. I laughed so hard at that scene. Just seeing the llama kick the freaking radio in and electrocute them all. So now you can. So was this a matter of a bunch of people that couldn't get back to filming? So you just had to kill all of them off?
Those people were actually meant to die in that scene.
Okay.
Mostly the 2 women that come back later and dip their toes in it. They were meant to be part of like a survivor party or something later on, but we couldn't get them, so we shot that later on where it was like, okay, we're just gonna have you guys step into the hot tub because we need to do this. But somehow we also missed I forget the character's name, but there's one character, it's the guy that says there's something wrong with that fucking llama.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He never dies. He just disappears.
He does just disappear.
Like halfway through the film. Like, we tried our best, like with certain continuity aspects. Like Trent changes his shirt.
No,
Yeah,
Dan
pointed that out.
Yeah. It gets dunked in the toilet and he changes it, and then the entire other bit is just Dan's shirts changing every time.
Yeah.
So it's just these weird, yeah.
This is the question of the night. Was that intentional, or was that just like one scene cut where Dan had a different shirt on and he was like, "Fuck it, we're gonna run it."
So I'm trying my best because I love as a game maker, I love, like, like I said, drinking games in particular. That one was done on purpose.
Okay.
When we had watched a bunch of these other movies, one of the things that I was very kind of like solid on is like, you need these little hooks throughout for the audience to discover. Because if you want it to become like even close to a cult classic, you just need these things that someone can say, like, did you see the movie where this like stupid thing happens? Like, what's the thing that someone's going to tell their friend that's like the,
right.
The instigating moment for a drinking game? It's like when I do that with The Room, it's like how many times do you do the pan shots of the doors opening or closing or something. So like Dan's shirt was that. Or like for Birdemic, I've done drink games with friends where it's like you choose team birds or team human, and then you drink whenever the opposite one's killed, right? It's like these little weird games to play throughout. So that one was on purpose.
Nice. There you go.
But I mean, the thing was a beautiful I don't want to say mistake because I don't regret it yet, but it was like a beautiful kind of collage. There's a lot of things in there that weren't purposeful that people picked up on.
Yeah, you can really dissect it. It's got a lot of cool things that happen in there that you're like, that's awesome.
I think that's the most generous. Sorry.
Is this by design or by default? Like, trying to figure out.
I honestly think the most beautiful parts of it are the by default parts. I think the by design is probably way more boring than by default. Like anytime I've ever watched a bad movie, the most interesting things to come out of it are the things that were unintentional, like the things that you had to rush or just had to do. Like we wanted to get a time lapse scene for the part that says time lapse, but it just went on too long and we just didn't put it in. And, like I was saying, we just reached a point where it's like, screw it, we have to put it up. Like we can't wait any longer. That perfection's never going to come. When I say perfection, obviously this thing is, like leveling degrees away from that. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. John, do you have a question there?
Well, I was going to ask what he mentioned, firing a llama, which is hilarious in its own right. But you mentioned that, it spit at people. There's got to be outtakes here. I mean, is there any bloopers where people are getting spit on by these things, or?
Honestly, I don't know. How we edited the film with, I think it's Chet. And I want to say that if there were any outtakes, they would have been the ones to see it. But from what I remember when we shot it and kind of like worked on it on set, we kind of kept the llama away from action as much as possible. Because they're not super easily spooked. But like the scene with the car exploding, that was, it was like cut in half and like edited together in post. Like the llama wasn't actually standing in front of the burning car. Like we walked the llama up first to look at the car, then we put in a trailer, and then we blew up the car. There's a lot of scenes where the llama wasn't actually involved in the action. So I don't know how much spitting was actually caught on camera, because I feel like most of the times that it was like on camera were like relatively tame compared to the rest of the insanity we were doing, like without the llama around. Just like human monkey business.
I remember when Joel was telling me about the movie, I was like, please tell me that the llama has like acid spit, and that or like when it spits on people, it like melts them or something. And he's like, no, even better.
That was one of my babies. I was like, we have to put this in here.
Yeah, that was awesome. But we'll just leave it as the animated transformation scene. I was going to ask you about that too. Like, so that was also awesome. It's like I could tell it's like, it's a budget restraints. We have to go animated here. Like, what was that? How did that process come along?
Oh man. So one of the people in the film, actually, the guy who played the Shaggy-esque character,
Yeah.
He was actually the animator for it.
Oh, nice.
And the crazy thing was, he actually went to undergraduate university for well, I want to say zoology, and then he got an animation degree. So, or like he got an animation certificate. So what was crazy is that he actually had like this fundamental background in like animal motion, and then after, I'm pretty sure it was after the film, he went on to get an animation degree, and he actually worked on the 3D Cats film as part of the cleanup crew. So like, making sure all the animations and stuff were correct. And when I heard that, I was like, that's so perfect. Like, I absolutely love that's where he ended up. That was years ago now. Like, the pandemic makes everything feel so condensed.
Yeah.
But a lot of that came down to when we were doing it, like, I'm pretty sure he was on board to do the animations for those sections. I didn't quite know how either of them were going to turn out, and I think both of them were like 1,000 times better than anything I could have ever hoped for.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Break. It's such a great break too, because you're not anticipating that.
Yeah.
It's like, this is great.
I think my little bit of feedback is when people say about the film, like, I wish the whole thing was animated. It's just like, that's so nice.
Well, John was saying it could make a great sequential like comic book too, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll be sure to tell him about that.
Yeah, it's in a series. Yeah, be awesome.
Yeah.
So that's okay. That's what we do. How did you go ahead and get like the eyes of Amazon Prime in front of you? Is it something where you guys market it to them? Do they come to you and say, "Hey, we found this"? What was that like, and that whole process?
I think they're changing their policy now, but Amazon Prime. Are you familiar with the game platform Steam?
I'm not. I'm old, sir.
Oh, okay. No worries. You're fine. So Steam is kind of like the monopoly hold on video games for PC. And they used to have a submission process where you had to submit a game to them, and it had to have a number of community upvotes before they would consider the game, and then their internal staff would approve it or not approve it, which is known as Steam Greenlight. But they've changed it since it's become such a much larger market. Like, I think they probably hold somewhere between like 80. I might be a little outdated, but I'm going to say be somewhere between 75 and 90% of like PC games are normally bought through Steam, this platform. Like, they're a monopoly in any way you want to look at it for games. But the new way they do it is literally you just you put your game up, you pay a fee, and then your game goes up as long as they review it and then it meets all their content guidelines and your like thumbnails and like video size and images fit their specifications. Like, you're fine. Amazon Prime at the time was more like that, where you just had to hit all their specifications and then you could go on. And I think it was one of these things where it was just kind of like, it's like the opposite of an open secret, where it's like not a secret, but nobody knows about it. So it's like anyone could put their movie up on Amazon Prime, but ultimately what kept your movie up was the views per month. And I think it kind of continues that way, like where if your movie doesn't get enough views every month, there's always some risk of some internal board looking at it and saying, maybe we should stop hosting this thing. But it seems like more recently, like I was reading about this just last month, because like I was saying earlier, like my brother and I are working on a couple secret projects, but we were trying to figure out like, oh crap, if Amazon restricts this, how do we go about like putting it on that platform? But that's a hurdle we'll have to hit. The other one was our director knew some people that had connections with Tubi, so they were able to get into a talk with them to get it on there.
Nice.
So that's like, I don't know. I'm sure there's other platforms, but being on Amazon Prime and Tubi, like, I'm pretty happy with both of those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's how. I mean, so I thought you were going to say something about how the views had spiked recently. I was going to say that's Joel watching it every night on rerun.
I'm by day.
It's like second by second. There's so much deep meaning in here to dissect it all.
Yeah, analyzing it all, breaking it down. Yeah. So the other key question that I have to get in is when is the sequel coming out?
Oh man, I wish I could tell you.
Yeah.
We
were hoping called Alpacalypse, so that was our.
So I guess
hope.
did anyone else have anything else to say about the potential sequel before I dive into it? I don't want to like have any spoilers if someone has any thoughts on it.
Well, my thought, because
Okay.
I've seen it like once or twice. There were multiple ships that left the planet in the
Mm-hmm.
intro animation, so my mind automatically goes to, well, there's going to be more things coming or different places that they could go, right? So it could be, interplanetary. It could be all kinds of different things you could play around with. So that's where my mind went.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I like
maybe,
that.
yeah.
So we worked on the script a couple of years ago. I want to say 2 years ago, and we revised it and we started a new one and we revised it and kind of like kept on reshaping it. But you hit the nail on the head. The sequel's name is Alpacalypse. So that is what it's going to be. There is a difference. There is a difference between alpacas and llamas, though. So we have to work with the different species, but we are hoping to have a llama. I want to say reprise, but I don't quite know if it's going to be Louis or not.
Louis still around?
Louis is still around, as far as I'm
Right.
aware. Yes.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to him in a while, but I had no one's hit up my phone saying, "Hey James, bad news. Like, can you come to Ohio? There's a funeral happening."
Oh man, your views would spike. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It'd be good footage for part 2.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Oh my god. Yeah. Part 2
In memory of
in memory of Louis the llama.
A formal funeral for a llama. Yeah.
That'd be amazing. I was just thinking about the Kotaku article, like live stream for llama funeral.
Yeah. Oh man. That so I could just picture that, like, because you think about some of these movies that have just blown up, like stuff like Sharknado. I mean, obviously sci-fi put a pretty solid budget behind that, but like stuff like that just sounds so ridiculous. And then when you just know, like, you have to see it, like you see the title Llamageddon and you're like, and then you see the poster and you're like, what the fuck is this?
The poster is so genius. He specifically made those faces all contorted.
Right?
Yeah.
It was so good.
Who did the poster?
Same person that did the animation.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome, man. It's like got that like 50s, like, kind of sci-fi pulp feel. Like it's
got the perfect vibe for the movie. Like it fits it perfect. So
it's so good, man.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are like super. So I think Dan, if I was to rewrite the movie, I would have made Dan the sole survivor, because he is like, after the fact, the best actor in the entire thing.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, hands down. I'm just like, crap. There's like so many weird hidden talents like found in this thing, like for ways that I would have never expected.
Yeah. He could show up in part 2, and that would totally fit your MO of like, I see that.
So,
yeah.
To give you an idea of how bad my movies were, I've talked about this movie on air before. We made a horror movie called Checkmate, which was like this kind of
I like that
nod to like slasher flicks, where this kid on the chess team got picked on by these bullies and died, and came back and like killed them all, and he would leave like a chess piece.
Why haven't you remade this?
I kind of want to rewrite it as like
please do. Holy crap.
And make it like more serious. Like this was like kind of over the top, but like where was I going with this? Oh, so my character got killed off, but then I wrote a sequel, and I forget the name of it now. I mean, Checkmate too, but it had a cool like but I was like, well, what the hell? I want to be in the movie. So I made myself a ghost, and like we tried to, and this was back in the 90s. So like we were trying to my buddy, the editor, he made me look like transparent kind of in the scenes, and like basically the killer, the way he killed me again, was sucking me up into the vacuum. So that's like amazing. It was so bad. So I'm just saying, sequels, they got a bar, you gotta raise it. So
oh man, yeah.
And you can bring characters back, just it doesn't matter. You just gotta find a reason. Flashbacks, or I don't know.
I think one of the biggest ones that the character who like went to the door and said there's something wrong with this fucking llama, like he was gonna straight up come back, like no questions. He was gonna have to be in the sequel because we left that one accidentally open. I mean, accidentally open, you know. But yeah, we're looking up to shore up some of those loose ends on a horribly frayed carpet.
Yeah. Floyd needs to come back like Rambo style because he's a man now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you may have hit that nail on the head too.
Yeah. Like, denim jacket with like Iron Maiden patch, like I don't know.
Like Evil Dead 2, just like Ash is like all of a sudden he's like this super badass now with a chainsaw arm sort of thing.
I don't know if it's in the current revision. All I remember is in the first revision. I don't think it'll be a spoiler if it is in the actual film because it's like so early on. But he was going to be living on like a houseboat, just like pumping iron. That was his thing. He just like kind of isolated from society. And we never talk about Llamageddon. It's just this guy that lives on this houseboat pumping iron. He's seen something you don't know. Like maybe but it's never who knows.
And have him not like in shape either. Just like he's pumping iron.
Yeah. It's like Mac when Mac's bulking up.
Yeah. Oh man, speaking of like the stuff that dude went through like on those seasons, like where he like gained all that weight, like that is just scary, man.
Insane.
Like I don't know if you, Joel, so either one of you guys, like did you guys ever watch Always Sunny?
No, I suck at shows, so I watching Llamageddon instead. I didn't catch it.
I mean, there's this guy in the show named Mac, and he's in pretty decent shape. He's got some tone to him, and like there was a season where he let it all go for the character. Like he had a freaking huge gut, like just so out of shape. Like it was real. It wasn't some fake stomach he put on. It baffles me when they do this method acting stuff.
Right?
You see like Christian Bale do it, and so
it's like I think that's like I don't know, maybe it might be a personal thing, but I really think that's when people deserve to be paid like so much money for acting is when they're willing to go that extra mile to actually become the character. Like I think Christian Bale is like the top one that always comes to mind. I'm like, holy crap! Like, have you
Jared
seen
Leto.
his transformation?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jared Leto too. That's insane for the
people
roles.
hate him on set because he won't be himself. He's playing the character, and like people can't stand being around him because he's just so in the zone. Like, yeah.
There's definitely a point where I could see somebody being like, "Yeah, this is too much," but also on the other side, it's like, "Well, just don't hire him then." It's like you could pick somebody else. Like this isn't your only choice.
You're hiring him because of this. Like this
exactly,
is why, yeah.
But like the Mac character, like goddamn, he put on like all that weight, and then I think was it the exact next season he was actually buff?
I think so.
That's insane.
Yeah. I want to see if I can find a picture of this.
Because it's just like he's just like a bum that works out at a bar, and like he basically is always talking about how macho man he is. And there's one season where the actor was like, you know what, I want to get fat for the season, so he just gets fat for the season, and they just write it in. And his whole joke is like, oh, I'm bulking up. And he's always talking about how heavyweight he is, and he's like, "No, that's just like it's just water weight. Like I'm big." And then the season afterwards, he's actually like buff. Like he like cut his diet. Like he went full on, like Fitbit.
Look at that.
Yeah,
that's real.
Yeah.
This is one season before this one. This is ridiculous.
It must have been so fun from like an actor standpoint, though, right? Just to like be like, I can eat now. Like it's cool.
Oh yeah.
How lousy do you think he felt though in that, like when he was like that? Because he was never cut like he was to the right before, but he wasn't in bad shape. Like he was that guy that would wear the sleeveless shirts thinking he was a tough guy and didn't have like the full muscle going on. But yeah, I can't even. Man, I don't know.
It's insane.
After Thanksgiving weekend, I'm like shit.
Another one that comes to mind is Benedict Wong when he played Genghis Khan in the Marco Polo series. Like he really got big. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That was like HBO series. So that's a great
right now.
That's a great series. Yeah, about like
how old is that?
Good question. 2014. Pulled it up.
Oh, that's
HBO.
Yeah,
that's pretty recent.
Yeah,
to check it out.
It's good. Had Lorenzo Richelme played Marco Polo. Yeah, it was good. It's a good series. Sorry.
No,
Oh, you're
Yeah,
good.
but Benedict really bulked up because I seen him in a couple other roles and he was pretty ripped like that, and I was like, holy shit, that's him. Yeah,
Whoa,
I was
that's
like,
crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at some photos right now.
yeah, it was crazy.
oh man.
A
Yeah,
good
this is what we
trans.
do on the show. We're talking about
Yeah.
porn after pics of
Talking about,
actors.
talking about buff guys.
Dad
Yeah.
bods and stuff, guys. Yeah. So out of the
Uh,
100, I'm going to switch over to your games now because that's really I want to talk about that too. 'Cause that's awesome. Is there? I didn't go through obviously all 100 games.
There's no reason to.
Is there a Llamageddon game?
There isn't. We've always planned it. I never did it. I need to learn some new software to do it. We've always fluctuated on what it would be, but kind of what we ultimately landed on is we want it to be like one of those really oh crap, I forget what they're called. It's like one of those really bad kind of like cutscene from the movie, and then like a side-scrolling bit that has very little to do with it, and then next cutscene from the movie. So we kind of wanted to do that, but unfortunately, the software I'm most familiar with isn't like particularly good at that.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things where I'm like, always, it's in the back of my mind. I'm always like, man, at some one of these days, I got to learn how to actually make this happen.
Man,
I
that was
think
the first thing that popped in my head was that side-scrolling 8-bit like guy,
Yeah.
like going toward and like the llama spitting like stuff out, and you have to like jump
Mhm.
up over it and shit.
We were thinking about making it from the point of view of Louis, just for the sake of like you're just like running on these platforms, and it's like 1 out of 8 humans. And he has to like spit on all the humans or kick them all or whatever,
That could
and then
probably
just
be more
moves on to
fun.
the next part. Yeah,
I would play that.
yeah, and it's like really lame. Like the little humans there, and they get like, oh no, and they just like jump off the platform and they're gone, and you just move
Oh
on.
man,
Yes.
so our thing growing up was Friday the 13th. Like that was what
Mhm.
my friends and I were obsessed with. We would make rip-off movies of it and crap. And so they made the Friday the 13th game on PlayStation like a
Mhm.
handful of years back. You could play online, and one of the characters you could play was you could be Jason, and like it was all randomized before the round
Mhm.
started. Like you didn't know if you're going to be Jason, and when the round started, you got this cut scene on your screen basically, and it's like Jason's mother talking
That's
to your
so
screen. You're
amazing.
like, oh shit, yeah, I'm Jason.
Mhm.
And then you're just going around. You have all these special powers where you can just teleport to spots. You can like do this like brisk walk towards people, and so yeah, being the
I
llama.
love that.
I'm comparing the llama to Jason Voorhees right now. So
I love it.
I
Do
hope you do.
Go for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'd say
they're both creepy. It's all right.
yeah,
Yeah,
Anyway.
Jimmy, I think that like you get a big hit when you finish a movie.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've done movies before this one, but I have the feeling that you want to keep on doing it
Mhm.
because of that kind of hit. But at the same time, do you think, just kind of futurology here, do you think that in the future you would like to do something more serious to prove yourself? And I can do shit. I can do great things, and I can run for the new best director or producer or whatever.
Mhm.
Do you think of making a shift in the future, or you just take as it comes?
I'm trying to figure out the best way to give like a straight answer, because I definitely I feel like I'm pulled to both of those camps. Like on the one hand, uh so talking about the games, for instance, is kind of a parallel. One of the reasons why I made like 100 games is because I wanted to learn like what my voice was, like what I enjoyed making versus what I enjoyed playing, and like what can I excel at, and like the secret kind of messages and strengths and weaknesses and such. And it's helped me a lot, like especially for trying to communicate through video games these days. Like I have this really I don't want to say a deep well of knowledge, but at least I have like a very kind of resolute ability to describe what I think is good game design versus bad game design, and then I can execute what I'm talking about as an example, which is, I think, pretty powerful. And at least for films, I feel like I'm still kind of in that territory where I was when I was making the 100, where the goal wasn't necessarily to make something super deep and meaningful and powerful, as much as it is to excel at the best of my ability at the current level that I'm at. So one of the things I've always kind of thought, and I know I mentioned this kind of was I have very little filters when it comes to like putting media out into like the world and like getting feedback on it. Because even if feedback is negative, it's really good for knowing how to shape the things you're doing in the future. If I make a film that's like meant to be a serious drama and everyone is like, oh, this is like really boring, or like, ooh, I don't want to touch this, or if no one watches it, then great, I learned I shouldn't do that. But the one thing I kind of realized is for some reason video games have this different kind of like landscape than films. Whereas it seems for films, it's like, and I could be wrong because this is just my own kind of like little made up dichotomy, but it seems like you kind of have this trifecta of like really good serious films, and then like really good entertainment films, and then really good serious films that are so bad they just turn into entertainment films. And my kind of thing is, it's like, well, I'm not really in the category to make really good entertainment films, and I'm not really in the category to make really good serious films. So something I can do and have a releasable project is this kind of third category, where I can like make something and I can learn from the mistakes, but I can also kind of incorporate those mistakes into it in a way that the audience is ideally in on it. But I think one of the biggest problems, and this is something that I don't know if I'll ever be able to overcome, or I don't want to say replicate, because Llamageddon is absolutely, I'm very blessed and happy that it's received any of the attention that it's gotten. But I don't know if even I know what the juice is that propels it. So it's one of these things where it's like, I'd love to continue creating projects like that as I kind of figure out what I'm good at and what I'm like to do and what I'm not good at versus, this whole entire kind of thing going on. But ideally, if I do figure that someday, I would love to make something more serious. So maybe it's a little bit of column B until if I ever reach column A.
Yeah.
So it's more kind of where the wind goes. And then if I ever kind of like, strike gold, it'll be like, okay, we got it. But at this point, I definitely kind of realized that I think I'm way better at the pre and post production parts. I didn't like editing before. I've definitely grown way more into editing. And I love the writing just because of the the thing, for instance, the drinking games and the things you can kind of put in there for the hooks. Where when I'm like writing a scene or even for a game, it's like, well, what's the point of this? We just wasting the audience's time, or are we actually like imparting something that's going to help them? For a game, it's normally some kind of repetition of like a skill, because games are just tutorials where you're bettering your ability to complete a task in like a more time efficient and like empowering way. And for films, it's like deepening the plot and deepening the audience's understanding. It's like either like establishing a setting or a story or characters or whatever's going to push into it. And there's certain scenes where it's like, okay, is this like really emotionally necessary for the scene? Or are you really just trying to stretch this out? And like, how are they going to feel about that? So it's like, to me, Llamageddon, when you have the sex dance scene, it's like this weird, obnoxiously long scene where it's like, this is obviously stretching footage. And at least to me, that's what's so funny about it. Because it's like not erotic, it's just like almost borderline annoying, but it's also slow-mo, and it's like not really pretending to be anything more than it is. So I don't know, it's just kind of playing with that form, I guess, in like a potentially a poor way.
No.
That was an absolute mind dump, but yeah, that's my.
Now, did you guys plan on having it be 69 minutes before you went into it, or was that because you mentioned?
No, we cut some footage and it ended up being 69 minutes, and then it was like, okay, that's it. We're done.
Lightning in a jar. I don't think you realize this. Like, you got lightning in a jar.
Yeah, exactly. That was like one of those happy accidents. Yeah, that was the lightning strikes twice. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is lightning in a jar, and it's like, if you could do that again, it's gonna. Man, your sophomore production is gonna be a tough act to follow. I mean,
I feel you every day. I wake up sweating. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
I'm 8 years older, and 8 Llamageddons poorer.
Yeah.
I have done.
Oh
yeah.
Man.
Harvey Danger feels the same way with Flagpole Sitta, their one-hit album that they put out there. They're still having that sweat 25 years later or whenever that came out. So, yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. I've learned that it's been done before, and I'm okay with that fact. But I'm working on 2 Christmas horror scripts, and
Nice.
I want to know which one should take priority.
All right.
So the first one is either Advent Calendar or Christmas Calendar. It's a truth or dare type thing where you open the windows and then it tells you to do something horrible to you or the people around you, and you're all locked in a house, and you know how that goes.
I think Advent sounds pretty badass to me.
Well, that's the first film. That's the first idea.
Oh, yeah, sorry, there's
The
two.
second idea is Grim Christmas, and the name of it itself isn't great. I was just shopping for URLs, and Grim.Christmas was open, so I got it, and I was like, okay, I gotta use this for something. But that one is going to be a Hallmark horror movie, so it has all the Hallmark essence. But then when she goes to the little town to find her roots, it then turns into Friday the 13th or whatever.
Oh God, that's
with the Christmas overtones.
Oh
Nice.
man, I'd be sold because
That one?
can't. Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, I go to my in-laws to pick up my kids. My mother-in-law watches my kids for childcare.
Yeah.
They will fucking have Christmas in July on the Hallmark Channel in their house.
No
so they can have
way.
shitty ass movies, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what are you watching these for right now? And my father-in-law is like Mr. Manly, and he'll be sitting there. I'm like, it's just on. I'm like, yeah, okay, Mr. Remote in your hand over there. So yeah. I mean, I have and now Netflix is starting to put some higher quality.
I love those so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and some of them make me laugh. I like the R-rated Hallmark ones, like the over-the-top comedy stuff. Like, I can't think of their names right now. I'm terrible, but yeah. Anyways, off the tangent. That sounds amazing.
Okay, that makes me happy. I'm God, I love like the Christmas Prince when Christmas season comes around, or just like December, January. I just dive into that. I just can't get enough of it. It's so formulaic. It's just like, it's almost like a bad movie where I'm just like literally playing drinking games with whoever's around. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Is your boyfriend the bad guy? Is she going to meet the handsome gentleman in the small town? Will they have been childhood friends? Like, who set her up for this? It's like all these little things that are going to go together. And I was like, how the fuck could you combine that with like a slasher flick? Because there's like so many overlapping tropes.
That is perfect. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I was just thinking that you could throw a kind of Psycho Santa into this.
Yeah, right? Like, oh man.
Great.
But you
Even,
never. But,
sorry, I don't want to add to the story.
Oh no, please do.
What if this girl goes to the town and her love interest is the freaking killer?
Exactly,
something
right?
like that. She's
Exactly.
going on dates with him, and
He kills 25 girls for Advent Calendar, obviously.
Right. Oh yeah, you could combine the two. Yeah. It's a Grim Christmas, and then in brackets the subtitle Advent Calendar.
Yeah.
You got it.
He opens the door. There's some chick
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
She's the next victim, right? Yeah.
Wait, no.
Now-
So it's not.
Now
it's
we
not
know
as-
how.
Yeah, go for it.
Now we know how you go about your script.
Yeah.
There's
here's
no
the twist,
bad
though.
idea.
Yeah,
Everything is
exactly.
welcome.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like, honestly, one of these things where you can share as many ideas as you want. Like, it literally comes down to execution. Like, if anyone wants to like make something of these, like, please do it. I'm sure it'll be like just as amazingly unique.
well, no, because for something like that to work, right, it has to be done just like the Hallmark movies. Like, you have to feel like you're watching one, and then all of a sudden, like what?
Well, there's like 50
this guy-
different twists you could do too.
Yeah.
Originally, I was thinking like Hot Fuzz, where it turns out the whole town was on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, like that'd be crazy.
Can the guy and the girl meet at like a llama farm? That would be awesome.
To tie in.
Tie
That's
that in.
good. That's good. Yeah. That's like their first date. And she's like, I don't like this llama farm. I'm from the big city. I want to go for brunch. And
No, they
and she
go
learns to
on
love
a
the
sleigh
llama.
ride. They go on a sleigh ride at a
llamas.
farm with the horse. Well, you could do that. I was
Okay,
thinking
with the horses. That's
with the
probably
horses,
better.
and there's llamas at the farm, and you just
Oh,
see
that's
a red
good.
eye.
Okay, yeah.
you
I don't know if you could. I don't know if I suspect llamas are probably not very good at pulling sleighs. That'd probably be really bad CGI. I think your idea is better.
You just see one quick red eye and it cuts, like, right?
Yeah, 1-2 frames of zoom in, and then you're done. Never
So
again. That's it.
And nobody knew, like, it was Llamageddon. Like,
Yeah.
like, how was with the red eye llama? Like, oh, like, this is
Yeah, it's like beats me.
I don't think you understand how bad I want to see this Hallmark horror movie. I know there. I'm pretty sure there's there's like some horror anthology books in that realm. Like I think there's one called Hellmark Holiday or something like that.
Oh,
I haven't read
really?
it. Yeah, I could be wrong. I feel like I've heard that name before, but I don't recall seeing a movie like that. So
I just got turned on to Peter Cottonhell. I got to find that one.
Whoa,
So,
what is that?
I don't know. Somebody commented on this show about it. I was like, they're like, yeah, it's right up there with Zombievers and Peter Cottonhell.
Zombievers is amazing.
Yeah, that's Bill Burr in it, of course. Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna watch Peter Cottonhell later. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I've heard of this. I haven't watched it. It's Beaster Day.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah.
Okay, I know this one. I need to
Killer
watch that.
The great one. Yeah.
There was
They got the best titles. It's fantastic.
It's amazing. It's so good. It's what sells it. Like you hear this movie, and you're like, I have to watch this. It's so good.
Oh, sure.
I just saw Revenge.
Oh no, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Velocipaster was great too. That I don't know if you've seen it, but that was good too. Yeah.
I haven't watched that one yet.
You have to.
Yeah.
What sold me on it is oh my god, it's not a spoiler. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the explosion in the beginning. That's like I was like, okay, this is it. Like I love this film. They knew what they were doing. They executed like perfect.
How fun was it for you guys? Speaking of explosions, to blow up that car in Llamageddon?
So, God, I can't give Howie like enough credit. He grew up near where he blew up the car, so he knew the local fire department. So he was able to like everything was cleared and fine. And it's like I don't know how often besides like going down to Mexico where like you can get like way easier permits. It's like a thing that a lot of films in LA out here do, or like paying exuberant fees and getting all these people involved in LA to do it, or going out to the desert, no man's land or something. But yeah, like the car. God, that was great. My brother and I were in a field. My brother was the DP for the film. So we were out in the field. We had the camera set up. Like the mud was up like beyond our ankles, like halfway up our shins.
Oh god.
Oh man.
And the car was just full of like fireworks and like covered in gasoline. And we were like, okay, like this is it. Either we get it or we don't.
Right? Yeah, it's not like you have like 20 cars sitting there all the same model.
I know it's like one take, right? Yeah.
It was one take. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. It was deep at night.
What was your total filming time? Was it like months or weeks, or how long did you guys do like the actual film work?
I want to say my brother would have a better track of the time than I did. 3 or 4 months.
Oh wow.
We
Okay.
shot most of it 1 year, the year after we graduated from Miami of Ohio. A huge shout out to them, because without them, this would be impossible. And someday we hope they'll embrace us as we want to embrace them.
You need like your own. I see like the the Cox Performance Theater annex.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. I can totally see that, like pillars and like a statue of you and Howie out there.
God, yeah.
Bombs on them when they open. All that. Yeah,
It'd be so great. I think the best thing to come out of best being a rhetorically ambiguous term here, from Miami of Ohio was crap. What was his name? Political guy Ryan something. He ran for VP a couple of years ago. 8 years ago. Yeah. He was an alumni from my from that school. That was like the hottest thing to come out of there.
You guys kicked Miami, Ohio kicked University of New Hampshire's ass in the Frozen 4 hockey tournament up here in like 2011.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say like our football team sucks. Like hockey's the one thing we're like proud about, which is so weird because it's like Ohio.
Right.
So it's like why it's like it's so random. It's not an Ohio sport. It's not a US sport.
They got a good team. They always do well. Yeah, Miami, Ohio rips it.
I never managed to see a game. I need to go back as an alumni and see one sometime.
Right.
I don't know how I managed to avoid that, but
I've been to a few UNH games.
I'm proud of that one.
What's Howie been up to? Is he still doing film and stuff, or what's he doing these days?
Yeah, he's As far as I'm aware, he's still working on film. He moved out here to LA a couple years after I did. He worked on a bunch of independent films, and I think he might be working on a game show now. I'm not quite sure which one.
Wow. Nice.
But yeah, he's still very active, and I know he and a couple other alumni always put out like a Christmas special for their friends, like a 10-12 minute thing where they sing carols and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's still very active, yeah.
It makes me think that he and you guys should do a cameo for sure. Like you should.
I've been debating. I don't know if that would be worth it or not. Like I don't know. I mean, I feel like I look very different, so I feel like someone would buy it and be like, "Who the hell?" Have you
seen some of the guys on there, or guys and gals? Like they look nothing like they put up their old profile pic, right, from like the 90s when they were like in their prime, and you're like, ah, yeah.
What happens? Yeah.
Google CC DeVille and you'll feel fine. Like,
okay.
Look up CC DeVille. Every moment we got left with CC should be cherished at this point.
That's another person you keep trying to get on the show.
Yes, I do. I want CC DeVille on here. Sorry, CC, if you come on and I've been ripping on you. So, tell us about Desert Night a little bit too. Like what's going on?
Oh man. So that's in post-production hell, as most of these things end up, where you finish shooting it and then it kind of lands at this point where you're like, okay, well we can just adjust it a little here, a little there. That one in particular, I wanted to make as low budget a film as possible that you could market as an art film and like have like a deep impactful meaning in it. So Desert Night was kind of that. And then Howie was on board because we were going to have like some fight scenes and like we had like armor and like some cool desert night stuff going on in it. But my original idea was I wanted this thing to be like infinitely loopable, where it stopped where it began and it just like went on for way too long. So the idea is like you could kind of pitch this as like, yeah, it belongs in art galleries, and someone like watches it and like, yeah, this is like really deep. But the main undertone of it was it's like this film is like a desert. It's like mostly nothing, and then you have these little cactuses every now and then, and that's kind of what I wanted to do to like be really kind of like the pretentious art house. Like, yeah, what about we do it that way? And the main problem with it is it's like I'm just absolutely terrible with color correction, and it's like for some of the scenes you can see like jet streaks in the sky, and I'm not quite at the proficiency level to like edit that stuff out yet. So we're like trying to work on it every now and then, but unfortunately when you're trying to salvage is I guess too mean of a word. All the footage is usable, but when you're trying to use more than you're supposed to, it takes up just like a tiny bit more time. That being said, though, before Llamageddon, something that Howie and I had co-wrote and shot was another film called Unitar. And nice. I'm trying to finish that one up. Ideally this year, 2022, fingers crossed. It's a lot of horse masks. It's in a universe where centaurs are reversed, so they're half horse and then half human. And humans are all enslaved to centaurs, so one human has to go find the Unitar, which is a unicorn centaur that'll save the humans from the centaur.
We're there. Yeah,
I'm there.
That's it. Yeah.
It's premiere, please, Jimmy.
The premiere.
I will fly out.
We'll see.
Joe could be a character on that film.
I'll do a voice.
I don't think it's going to quite make feature, but I do suspect it'll hopefully be around the 40-minute range. But we'll see what happens with Hollywood magic.
You got so many ideas, man. I could almost see like you doing just like some type of just a YouTube channel, just put out some like sketch comedy thing, man, and just riff that. Like you could probably do huge with that. Just put out some 5, 10, 15-minute thing and run it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, that thing would crush.
It means the world, but I feel like ideas are just like a dime a dozen. It's like it's just literally if you have an idea and you're able to execute on it, because I'm sure we weren't the first to come up with Unitar or Llamageddon. Like I'm sure those were like memes, 20, 30, 40 years before someone did something with them. It's just literally like the ability to like follow through on like absolute garbage that makes it worth it.
Since you don't need to invent anything new, you just need to make it 20% cooler and sexier. That's
exactly. Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. So I mean, it's okay. It works.
I mean, look at Snakes on a Plane, right? Like, I mean, obviously they had Samuel L. Jackson, so that helped, but like they literally named the movie Snakes on a Plane, and it's
It's
like,
amazing, yeah.
yeah, like that's all it took. People saw the name and they're like, "What is this?" Like, it's Snakes on a Plane. That's what it is.
I think it's Alien Train. There's a film, Alien Express. You need to watch that if you haven't.
I'm going to give you
Prime.
that Desert Night. When you were explaining it, my mind immediately was thinking of probably one of the worst movies I ever saw, which was Oasis of the Zombies.
I haven't seen that. No.
That was about 2 hours of just a zombie walking in a desert. Like that's all it was. So it kind of had that art feel. Like
No way. Okay,
My buddy
I have to watch this.
we used to get together on Friday nights and get like Mickey's Hand Grenade malt liquor and pizza, and we'd watch like there was a company called Something Weird Video, and they're putting out like really shit movies from like the 40s and 50s, and they got the rights
that.
$75, and they reproduce them and they throw them out there on DVD. So we go buy these things and watch them. And I got so blacked out drunk on Mickey's, I passed out while the movie started. Woke up like an hour later. I was like, "Did you start the film over again?" And it's
That's
like,
amazing.
an hour and a half of the zombie walking in the desert.
I'm gonna watch this. I found it's on Tubi. If you want to watch it, it's free on Tubi.
I don't want to watch that. Did they at least wait? Time out, because my mind, like, if they didn't take themselves seriously, which I hope they didn't.
Which one are we talking about?
The zombie movie, the zombie in the desert.
right.
Like, in my mind, if you're gonna do that, you got to have a mirage where the zombies see human and they think they have food up ahead, and they get there and there's nothing there. Like,
It's too absurd.
It's just a tree.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, the good thing about this type of film is that they never let you down, because there's nothing worse when you go to a film that pretends to be something meaningful and just utterly shite. Then I hate to waste my time on that. And,
Please.
It is hard.
Never watch Desert Night when it comes out. that's the entire goal of that film.
I'm talking about those kind of big budget films, and then you just go, oh my God, how could it spend so much money on that? I'd rather go to see Llamageddon, Revenge, or whatever, because I know they're gonna have some fun time and they're gonna laugh about that kind of crap, like a no offense intended, because it's just my kind of mood.
Yeah.
And I've just seen a film with what was it, the latest one with The Rock, and there's the Wonder Woman in it.
Red Notice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's bad. That's just bad. Like, I couldn't be entertained by that. I couldn't go through it.
I love The Rock and I love Ryan Reynolds, so it's hard for me not to think I would like that movie. And I love Gal Gadot. I like all three of them, actually. But yeah, I've heard mixed things about that movie. It had a huge budget. I mean, it was like one of the biggest viewed movies ever on Netflix, and like
the most expensive one.
Yeah, I heard CGI. I heard was pretty ridiculous on it. So but
they could have made 3 movies, one with each character, and that would be all right. It would be better spent, in my opinion, of course.
I think you're getting a consensus from our.
Wow, I'm not going to waste my time with it, I guess. And The Rock was my hero when I was in middle school, so that's sad.
How did you guys feel about Jungle Cruise?
Well, that's another one of those like over the top CGI movies.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it, but I'm a sucker for The Rock, so
yeah.
I don't know. He plays the same character in every freaking movie. Too. But I think he admits that. Like there's a meme going around where it's like us, 4 squares right here of different pictures of The Rock, 4 different movies.
Oh yeah,
same exact freaking outfit. Like like the desert, like colored, like
it was like
t-shirt.
Jumanji, Jungle Cruise,
Journey to the Center of the Earth, or whatever it was.
Journey to the Center of the Earth, yeah. Like,
the National Treasure movies, he might have been in there. Like, I don't know at this point.
They should be. Oh,
Right.
versus Nick Cage, that would sell.
Same Rock, yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I liked that movie. I agree. Too much CGI. And the biggest thing for me is I was watching it was like, why did all the zombies need different like powers? Why couldn't they just it's like these weird, like, just trying to, I don't know, it was over the top.
Scorpion
Oh, Scorpion King was good though. That was.
Oh, do you remember? So that character was introduced in the Mummy sequel, and the CGI was so bad.
It was
like
bad.
the Rock's
it was
face was like
stiff.
Like it wasn't even.
They were trying so hard.
Back then, oh man, I was a huge fan of the Mummy movies back in the day. Like they don't hold up so hot, the effects, but like literally Indiana Jones holds up so much better, and it was made like 15 years before that. So
it's like the practical effects stuff, you know. So there's something that went missing. Oh well, I'm sure Gen Zers would disagree, but I feel like there's like some element.
Yeah, I agree completely. Like that, like Ninja Turtles, right? Like the movie with the freaking Jim Henson puppets. Like it's so much cooler than CGI, like Michael Bay shit. Like
100%.
Have you seen how those puppets look now? I put it on my.
That's freaking creepy.
They're all
oh man, I gotta find that picture. Oh
yeah,
man,
just share it on here. And also, Hoggle from Labyrinth. Somebody found that thing in a suitcase, like abandoned in a. Airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's amazing.
Find that real quick and throw it up there because
it looks so rotted. It's so good.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen to the llama legs and fuzzy eggs. So
the legs are holding up okay, and so are the eggs. Like the crazy thing is because it was all paper mache. Like originally it was a balloon that we just blew up and then like lathered with like glue and then paper mache and then like you put the fur on it. Like some of the balloons popped internally, but all the paper mache is still holding.
Oh, sure.
So, like they're actually pretty good. I think the legs will need a little bit of reinforcement, but because they're on like chicken wire, they're pretty good. Oh my god! Yeah, look at that.
It just rots away. It is so creepy. You didn't have a full body shot, Joel, either. This is even worse.
It's like an ad for like I think like True White dental strips or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually creepier than CGI.
It is. Yeah. They could have the TMT zombies. Yeah.
It's like you may feel bad on the inside, but you'll look good on.
What happens when you live in the sewers?
Throw Hoggle up there. Go find Hoggle.
Man.
What it Hoggle?
Yeah, Hoggle. Hoggle puppet now, I guess.
I know it's such like a memeable film, but like I swear to God, every time I watch Citizen Kane, I'm impressed by how it's able to retain my attention. Because there's so many films that are like just it's like, oh my God, like I can't watch this thing, like it's too slow. But there's like there's certain films where somebody's like, this is an amazing film, and you're like, yeah, like everyone says that, and then you rewatch it and you're just like, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
This is your costume on drugs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this Hoggle's pretty messed up too.
Yeah.
Apparently
like censor worthy.
Like rotted out. Like his nose is green. Like, what did they put inside it?
Yeah, Sarah never needed him again. They left him in her bed. Walked away.
Yeah, they have different views of him.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
That gives kids nightmares.
I would love to see that in a modern movie. Also, I love that the related content is just like other skulls and shit.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or search algorithms get totally screwed after this show.
Oh yeah, this is all showing up now. All right, enough of this.
So somebody did buy the Hoggle and restored it though. It's in a museum. So.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It didn't deserve that previous fate.
No, that's I don't want to happen to the fuzz eggs. So please.
The funny thing is that if you take a classic such as The Exorcists and you put on TV a 4K TV, it's just crappy facts. And it takes the life out of me because it's so scary. The atmosphere is just right, and you see dolls, you see kind of very, very bad effects, but it doesn't take the feeling, the atmosphere, that type of goosebumps that you rarely get. And this is why I would go, full on, using makeup than CGI. CGI cannot be scary.
Dude, well,
Cannot.
two things real quick. So you just gave me a good question. First of all, when is Llamageddon getting a 4K transfer? Maybe never, but it could be a thing. No, the other actually, I already forgot my other question because that came out of my mouth. But
well, I just have to share this because I'm just sharing a screen.
yeah, you
The
should be
share
able to.
screen is gonna It's just one screen, and it's because I typed in CGI, and the first thing that came up in the side, computer generated imagery. It's like,
Oh, Jay.
Oh, actually, no. That reminds me of what I was gonna say. Because it's
awesome.
over there on the side. Is the CGI that blows me away is the Planet of the Apes movies that they just came out with. Those
those are good.
That's the best CGI I think I've ever seen. Is that that new trilogy that they put out? I was blown away by that. So I don't know if you watched those, Rogerio, but those movies, like, that looks like freaking real human apes. Like, that's pretty badass.
I also have seen the original.
Well, yeah. So the old like Charlton Heston ones, like those look good. But even, I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a kid of the '90s. Like, I liked the Tim Burton one. Like, it was Tim Burton, right?
What, Planet of the Apes?
No, wait. What was
so.
the one from the '90s with Mark Wahlberg? What? That not Tim Burton. Who directed that? Why am I? I'm gonna draw a blank.
I'm looking it up right now. 2001.
I'm just throwing out names.
Tim Burton should have done that. That would have been pretty cool.
It was Tim Burton. Yeah, 2001 Tim Burton.
Oh, I knew it. All right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got it right on.
Yeah. Oh, you guys made me feel stupid. Everyone was like, no, Tim Burton never did Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti played the orangutan. Like, Michael Clark Duncan was the big, like, massive Hulk gorilla dude. I saw that in theaters. I liked it, but I don't think it was very well received. But those were like costumes. Those were like the makeup and all that. They didn't do CGI, but and they look good. But anyways, the new trilogy though, my wife was probably getting so annoyed because we were watching them in 4K on the new TV that I had gotten, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, you can see like the strands of their freaking fur and shit. Like, this is wild.
Yeah, the hair and the fur was always an issue for a long time with CGI.
Yeah.
It's getting good, man. They couldn't get it for a while, like the way that it moved and looked, and yeah, it's getting really, really good. So,
well, like Peter Jackson, like you look back now at like the Lord of the Rings trilogy and like the King Kong movie, like it doesn't look as good. Like the effects don't. I mean, I still love the movies. Don't get me wrong.
Smog, the way they did Smog was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That was freaking.
Yeah.
It's crazy because one of these situations where it's like you look back and like you're wondering, like, I can't believe people got freaked out when they were in a cinema and a train was coming towards the screen and they thought it was going to hit them. And then it's like now we're looking back and it's like the CGI looks so terrible, but I guarantee in 20 years we're going to look back at this CGI and we're just going to be so much more accustomed and have the same exact thing. Both be it that we're more attuned to things looking more real, but also like film quality will have increased enough that like just the deprecation of just like poor, computer generated stuff is going to be like, yeah, this isn't real. I can tell, except for water. Water's so weird to me because it's like when you see water in a movie or a game or anything, you're always like, this looks so fake. And then you go out in real life and you look at water and you're like, damn, like the water in that game looked more real than real water. And like, it always annoys me. I don't know how to fix that.
Dumb it down. Dumb down water.
Like you look at water in real life and it's just the same repeating patterns, and you go to a game and you look at it and it's the same repeating patterns. You're like, yeah, that's so fake. It doesn't do that in real life. And it's like, wait, no, that's how nature works. Like that's literally how it goes. That's my bad.
I see like we've had a couple of directors on here, and I mentioned this to them. Like, I see the future of film as being like some of those 360 images you can do now, like with
really.
Camera. And so, like, you might, as a viewer, be in the film. Like, oh, I want to look up at the ceiling now, and oh crap, like the creature's on the ceiling. Like, and you wouldn't notice that if you're looking this way. So every time you watch the film, you could actually have a different experience because it's a environment, maybe through like VR or AR or something, or just the way they film it. You can actually move the camera on your own in the film.
Yeah, I've been having like this love-hate relationship with VR from like my game side, where a lot
Right.
of it comes down to for cinematic experiences like that. One of the biggest problems is like if you want the audience to focus in on one particular element, there's no reason why you should allow them to distract themselves by the rest of anything that could be around them. Because it's like if the action's happening here, why would you ever need to look somewhere else?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's this weird situation where like I feel like it works well for documentaries where you're trying to capture kind of like you're saying, like this whole surrounding thing, like the construction of a building or like a busy supermarket where it's not one particular thing, but it's just the chaos or the grandeur of some kind of surrounding situation. But I guess I don't quite know how you could narratively apply that to like a full linear experience.
Could be like it's just that, yeah, it would be more about the experience, I guess, right, than the actual
Yeah,
it would work well with horror movies, like shit
totally.
crawling around your head and stuff. Like it would work good. Like because I played the Resident Evil VR game, and
Mhm.
my wife was filming me. I wish I knew that. Uh,
Is it good?
I mean, it was just like I'm not gonna scream or anything, but like
Okay,
I
okay.
remember being like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Like, because it's
Mhm.
like just something coming. You turn your
Yeah,
head and it's
yeah.
like a zombie reaching at your head,
Mhm,
and like, and they really ramped up the atmosphere. You're walking through this like dark,
mhm.
creepy like cellar in like this narrow passageway, and you're like looking around. You see stuff on the shelf, and you're like, "What the fuck?" But and you hear like scratch sounds off in the
Yeah.
distance, like stuff like that, you know. So like
Oh,
something like that could
that's
be cool
so
with a
good.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And you know, I guess one way you could look at it too is like you said, like you want them to focus on the scene. Like they're just gonna like. I guess it could be like a different experience every time they watch it. Maybe it would get
Yeah.
replayability if they're able to like look over there and see
Mhm.
this, the characters talking over here, and they just see characters doing stuff on the side.
Oh,
But
totally. I think,
but yeah,
it's not really a happy middle ground, but something that I've always really been hoping for, and this is kind of like my holy grail of like combining movies and games, and Lord knows I will never be able to do this in my lifetime. But something I always thought would be really cool is if you were able to use just psychology and what other chemicals and things that are going on for an individual, and able to find enough like shared experiences that you had a situation like you were talking about, Joel, where it's like you're looking around, you can do whatever you want, but the game is able to predict the way that every single human that experiences this thing is going to look at a particular moment to refocus their attention to the thing they need to pay attention to. So you have that element of free will, but in the same time, like because you're a human and you're just kind of like obeying your own chemical reactions to stimuli, you're going to do it. And 99% of the viewers always do the same motions. So even though they're all doing the same action, they had the free will to do something different. So it feels like they're actually experiencing the thing on their own because they are, but there's so much that's leading them through that kind of like roller coaster, because that to
yeah,
me is like that's like the perfect, because then it's like, oh, there's a sound behind me, and because of all of these generations of being a human and just evolution built up, I'm going to react in this certain way, and the designers can predict that and like build for that. Like that would
yeah,
be
like
awesome.
turn the volume down over here, but have a conversation louder over here, so everyone's gonna like look that way, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
So
But you have to make sure like everyone's gonna follow to the point that people aren't like, I missed everything and I'm so mad, or like someone's gonna be sitting there being like, I refuse to. I don't know. I guess it's like a general gameplay thing is like you always have to assume that on some level the player is going to participate within the game, because otherwise
yeah,
it's like it doesn't matter, because someone's like, oh, we need to add more tutorials and more kind of follow the rules, and it's like, well, that's great, but also like if the player's going to sit there with the controller down and be like, I don't want to do this, it's like, well, all bets off. So same with this, I guess, or even for a movie, someone go into a movie and say, I'm not going to watch this, screw you, director. But yeah, I'm just trying to catch the people that want to participate, and like how do you like guide them,
yeah,
subtly, not forcefully, but also like this is where you need to look now for the thing.
I think of
yeah,
anytime you go into a store, everybody goes right. Like you go into the grocery store, you go right.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like
Yep.
taking all those lessons we know and like implementing them in like the perfect maze of a 3D video. Because I love
Sure.
the idea of choice, and I love the idea of freedom, and within a cinematic piece is just making sure that people aren't missing the things and making sure they feel like they could have had alternate choices when they chose to follow the narrative flow of the actual
you know what you could do
movie.
too. This wouldn't be fully VR though, I guess, is like first person from the character in the movie. So
Mhm.
like you're still VRing it almost, but you're not controlling
Yeah,
the head. Like basically you're following the character, and they can look around and see shit too. Like that could be kind of a way to handle something like that, to make sure the character, the viewers see what you want them to see, but still feel like you're like right there. Like
I did this haunted house out here in LA. I think it was called the 13th Door. 12th door. I'm gonna mess it up. It's either 12th door or 13th door, but effectively it was like a bunch of separated rooms where each room like you go into and it had a different gimmick. But when my girlfriend and I did it, we did a VR section where they put a VR headset on you, but they actually strap down your wrists so you can't get up from the chair. And the cool thing about it, it was within the VR, like somehow the chairs had like a little electric shock thing so they could shock your hands.
Oh, wow.
So when you're in the VR, like you see somebody like within this performative thing that they made for you to watch, where like a nurse comes over and she's like injecting you with sedatives, like she's gonna like make you relax. But when she puts the needle to your wrist, the little like electro pulse like shocks your wrist. And that was really cool because it's like you're looking down and you can't withdraw your hands, and what you see is a needle, but in real life it's just like a little like a little flick electrocution. But it's like that was pretty, like you weren't gonna look away from that because you're like,
I'd be dropping F-bombs.
Yeah, you're
left
like,
and right,
stop. Don't stop. I don't want this. That was pretty cool. I don't think we're gonna get there with cinema. I don't want to have people like feeling like they're getting stabbed or
if you go to
shocked in the
Disney,
theater.
man, like I went in when my kids, I went in, or not my daughter, she wasn't old enough to go in there yet, but we went in the Bugs Life. I used to actually growing up,
like the smells, like did they have
yeah. So like growing up, like one of my
great.
favorite things about going down to Florida was they actually used to have, I forget what they were called. I think they were called movie riders, like buildings. Basically, it was like simulation rides. So you go in and it's like a almost you see two movies, but it's two simulator rides, and you pay whatever.
Cool.
I don't think they exist anymore, but like I love that type of stuff. And like they did that with the Bugs Life thing at Disney. And yeah, like you're sitting there and all of a sudden like the bugs are crawling under the seat and they like poke you in the ass. And like, what the hell? But yeah, I was just thinking like, man, even when like the bug in that thing like farted, I was like, God damn it. And I can't even imagine like actual horror shit in my face. Like
that's so good.
Could have like rotted meat smell or something.
Yeah.
Like
They had one of those. There was a room you go into and somebody was like supposed to be putting cockroaches on you and it just smelled like maggots and stuff.
Oh god.
It was scary. But what I was gonna say was I think Disney had like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids where there was like rats or something like flicking your legs.
Yeah. There was Alien, which was awesome. The thing would like lick the back of your neck.
Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah.
I missed that. That was what was it called?
Was that Universal or Disney? I think it was Disney.
It was Disney, yeah. It was like something Encounters. It wasn't Close Encounters.
It was totally a ripoff of Alien. It wasn't called Alien.
Yeah,
it was a total ripoff.
Because they had like a volunteer go, and the teleporters got all screwed up, and this thing escapes. Yeah, that was awesome.
I need to ask you guys about. You brought up the haunted house thingies. My wife and I used to be all about that. Like we would go, Joel, up in North Conway. They have this freaking awesome one up at like on the top of a mountain. You ride the ski slope up to the top, and they have you have these. Yeah, it was Cranmore, and you have these mock flashlights basically, and they're like triggered or something. So like you're going through, they start flickering and shit, and you're like, what the fuck? No, like it gets dark.
Amazing.
Yeah, but they also had this room, which I didn't do, and I'm wondering if you guys would do this, where it was like you had the option of getting locked in this room and trying to find your way out, but basically all hands off. Like you had to agree, like you could be touched, you could like basically you had to agree. I mean, they couldn't do anything bad to you, but like they could touch you, like, and you were stuck in there. Like you had to sign a waiver. Like I'm like, no, I'm good. I love horror shit, but I'm good with that. So I don't know if you guys would ever do anything like that.
I definitely would try that.
Yeah.
I would go for it.
100%. Yeah, those are amazing.
I just as soon as someone like, because you can't hit them, like your instinct would be like pop, like
nope. It's so good. Those are so good. I don't know, it's what are they called, like extreme haunted houses?
Yeah.
Like, I love those. Oh man, it's just like it's like that weird space between games and like performative theater. Like I just love it.
I'd be on YouTube. be viral on YouTube. I think. I don't know. There'd be like some footage of me like freaking out.
I can. Yeah. Some people. It's not for some people. Like just straight up. I know people that are like, yeah, I could never do that for like XYZ reasons. You have to be
It's
like
weird though, because I love the horror stuff, and I want like
Mhm.
when I'm watching a movie or when I'm reading a horror novel, like I want to get scared, but like then when I think of stuff like that, I'm like, maybe I'd do it. I don't know. Like literally, Cranmore like was so awesome. Like we went a couple years, did the ski lift. There's nothing scary going on there, but the year we did that, it was a full moon, and you're riding up pitch black, full moon,
Oh
and you're riding up
man.
to the top of the mountain, and they have like their like area up there, and you're going through the building and stuff, through the woods, and they had something at the bottom too. And then at the bottom they have like the fire pits, and you can go in the bar and get drinks and shit. It was awesome.
Oh.
But the year before that, you didn't go up to the ski lift. You had to take a bus, like a school bus, from the parking lot over to where they set everything up, and the school bus ride was all part of it. Like
That's awesome.
you get on the bus, you sit down, they have all the windows blacked out, and they have like the flickering light in the bus, and you're sitting there, and like there's props in there and shit. There's like this like zombie prop just sitting there in one of the seats, and all of a sudden you're driving, and I shit you not, the zombie stands up, like it starts climbing over the seats. People are screaming, like it was like an actual. They thought it was like a prop the whole time. There was a person climbing over the seats. Everyone's like freaking out, and the bus is driving with the lights flickering. And I'm like, holy shit! Like this is wild.
I love that.
Yeah, that was fun. That yeah. So you just brought back those memories. I forgot all about that bus ride.
I'm so sorry, but that sounds amazing.
No, that was fun. No, I forgot about the bus ride.
What's your
Anyway.
take Jim, on like the whole metaverse NFT thing? Are you dabbling in any of that world these days with like the stuff, or what's your deal with that stuff?
A little cryptocurrency. I've been debating doing some NFT stuff just for like the fun of it, like making some things. I don't know if it's gonna take or not. It's just like a situation where blockchain in of itself is, pretty cool. It's like a way to keep a ledger, right? It's a digital ledger of transactions. Like, okay, great. But the problem is everyone talks about like, oh, the blockchain. And it's like, okay, well, if you were to say the blockchain, like, what are you talking about? Like something already established, like Bitcoin or Ethereum? Are you going to make your own blockchain? Because it's not like a centralized piece of technology. Like you have to make your own for anything you're trying to do. And NFTs are great, but also NFTs, once again, have to be established within their own kind of blockchain ledger. So it's like, okay, great. You can have your own one-of-a-kind NFT on like this blockchain ledger, but then you could have the exact same one on this one. And then, when McDonald's or, what was it? I think Walmart's going to get into the NFT like
Pizza Hut,
crypto
Taco
space.
Bell,
Yeah.
Disney, like they're all doing it.
It's like as soon as they do that, unless they decide to join an established ledger, it's like they can make their own ledger, which means they could have their own kind of transactions. And I don't see a reality why they would ever want to give up that kind of control. So it means it's all pretty much meaningless as far as I'm aware. And then it's also like, Facebook saying like, oh, we're making the metaverse. It's like the only reason I think they may be able to get away with it is because they're so well established and they have everyone's information. Like they have the best route to get everyone like sucked into it. So here we all are sitting and like, me saying like, yeah, this is total bullshit. But then it's like, give it 3 years. And after like enough subversive kind of like subliminal ads, maybe I'll be like, I love this. My digital self is like super skinny and buff and he's everything I'll ever want to be. And I'm going to be him for the rest of my life.
Yeah, Facebook live show. We're all freaking, on some other planet, like in like these superhero
exactly.
costumes. Yeah.
But I just, it's like not Half-Life. Second Life has been around for like 10 plus years, as far as I'm aware, and it's like people have been playing in World of Warcraft and Habbo Hotel and all these other, like effectively, like metaverse-esque spaces. I don't know why Facebook decides they're going to be the ones to like create the one. I don't know. It just felt like a get out of jail quick card for their terrible behavior, where it was like, oh boy, like we're doing so bad. Let's just like make everyone look over here. Forget about those bad things. Look at this next big thing we can fuck up. So you forget about that stuff that we already did fuck up.
They're trying to get the young people back, right? Like Facebook has turned into like
Oh, it's old
mostly
people stuff now. Yeah,
it's old people. It's like your mom like posting terrible memes or
it's me. It's
yeah,
millennials and
yeah,
up.
yeah. We're
It's
like at the
great.
cusp. Yeah, but yeah, everyone below us is TikTok and you know, I don't even know what else. TikTok's the only thing that comes to mind actually.
Still
But
have a MySpace. It's like my own personal island going to MySpace.
I wish I wanted to go on my
I miss
MySpace because
MySpace.
I love my music playlist I had. I had a Jessica Alba like wallpaper in the background, and
That's
I tried to
amazing.
find it the other day and it's gone. I mean, it's there, like my account's there, but none of that. Like I'm like, oh come on, like I wanted to because when I met my wife, we still had MySpace. Like we met like
Aw.
right as things were shifting to like Facebook
Yeah.
at that point. And
My MySpace was everything Facebook wanted to be. You know, without the corporate selloutness. Like
There was
it's
there
it's
was a
beautiful.
meme that said all Tom wanted to do was give you a theme song and teach you HTML. He didn't ban shit. Right?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
oh man, I guess it was kind of annoying. Like some people got annoyed when they click on someone's page and like a song started playing immediately and
Super loud song. It's like 2 a.m. and you forgot to turn the volume down on your phone.
Yeah.
Your wife sleeping next to you. Yeah.
phone. I didn't have MySpace on my phone.
Maybe
I
maybe
had-
my I don't know.
I guess
I was on the dial-up. I was calling the rotary phone. Like
yeah.
the funny thing now is it's like you can still do that on websites. Like you can still have a website where you open it, it just blares music at you.
Yeah,
so it's not like anything was different, you know.
Yeah.
You're just learning the hard way.
Yeah, I didn't have to pay for a
A domain, yeah,
URL.
space,
domain.
anything.
I'm totally gonna digress and go back to Llamageddon for a second.
Go
we
for
should.
it. Yeah, sorry.
We're at 90 minutes, so it's good. We need to go back to Llamageddon here.
It's okay. It's one of the awesome things that happens too is obviously that the helicopter shows up and they want like to study the trailer a little bit more in the crash site, and then it never really goes back to that. So it's pretty awesome that it never really touches back upon that.
Did you watch at the end of the credits?
Yeah.
The end credit scene?
Yeah,
I did not watch that. I'll have to go back.
Oh
That's
man.
Yeah, I love the kind of official rejection in Cannes, and there's so many others. This is so brilliant.
There's a little hidden extra scene at the end of the credits that goes back to the scientists a little bit.
Oh shit! Well, now I got something to look forward to tonight. So
Yeah, you've watched it so many times. You never.
It's like 5 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. You didn't miss much.
Joel's watched the whole credits. Like he's read the credits and he still hasn't seen
I
that
don't
scene.
know all the lyrics to the song.
I
Then
read the
you
credits, but I missed
definitely
them.
seen it with the egg at the very end.
At the end of the credits,
Yeah.
dude, I'm trying to remember. I'm like drawing a blank. I could be.
Oh no.
I could be pre-Alzheimer's here. I don't know. I'm trying.
Okay, I'm going to. Oh my god, I've been so afraid of that so many times. What was that condition where you're always like self-dying? Is it Munchausen? I feel like I had just like it's like sometimes that I just feel like I have Munchausen, where it's like I get a cut and I'm just like I swear I know I have tetanus.
Yeah, right.
But I've had some times where somebody's like, "Oh, I forgot something," and or I feel like I forgot something, and it's
walk into a room and don't
no.
know why you went in there. You're like, oh god, here it is. It's arrived.
Well, I had to jump to the credits myself to make sure I'm not just like going crazy. Okay, it is there though. The thing is there. There's an after credit scene. I'm not insane. I promise.
Maybe I'll say
I had a moment. I was like, wait, is that something that was cut? Like, did we cut this and I totally forgot about it? No, it's there.
If there was a director's cut, would there be a lot more stuff, you think? Or what? Is there stuff that fell on the floor that you feel should be?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, right. We're talking.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. I'll save it. I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. I honestly don't know. There was a couple scenes. The reason it made 69 minutes is because it took so many years after it was shot to edit it, because we're not editors.
Right.
We had our own things going on, our own lives and all that kind of stuff. That we reached back out to some of the cast to make sure they were cool with certain scenes that were in there. Because as we were shooting, people were coming up with their own ideas, like, oh my god, wouldn't it be fun if we did this? And it's like, yeah, sure, we have like 30 extra minutes today or an hour today. Like, let's shoot that thing you thought was funny, right? But then it's like, 4 or 5 years later, when people are more mature and have their lives formed, you kind of go back to them. And I was like saying, like, we have to go back and talk to these people to make sure this is cool. And then we did, and like, there's a couple instances where somebody was like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Like, yeah, it was funny at the time for me, but like I have this thing now and I don't want my, associates like seeing my dumb idea come to fruition in this film. So that's what cut it down to 69 minutes. So it's hard to say if it would be longer. Like, I would have to say there's probably some material that would be in there. Like, I know we had a couple scenes we didn't shoot that we'd probably want to go back and shoot and put in there to make it longer.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the biggest things I would have issues with is it's like, do we remove the time lapse cue card? Do we keep that? Because it's like we could have shot that at any point, but it was just one of these things where it was like, we can shoot that at any point, and then it just never happens. Because it's like it would be at the house we were at the entire time, and it just, it didn't happen. And by the time, like, showing it to test audiences and stuff, of all the issues, that was like not one of the ones that bugged them. So it was like, okay. So I don't know. I can't tell you. Like, I think it'd be a slightly longer, but also like the fact that we landed on 69 minutes, like we were just like, okay, it's gold. We can't change it. Like, this is like right within the definition of feature. Like
you would how we do like the voiceover like you do on like the DVD bonus, like
we have been talking about that. There has been talk about that.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
A couple different ones. Potentially playing the drinking game, cast and crew, who's able to make it.
Yeah.
Doing that and just reminiscing about it.
You guys could do a live stream on that. It'd probably be freaking huge.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
I thought of mentioning that to you, Joel. Like, it'd be cool if we did that on this show. If we had put the movie on and just talked through it.
If you have 69 minutes, some night
I'd be down for that. Yeah, I could see who else I could rustle up for that.
Yeah, I don't know if you pull off of YouTube or whatever, but I don't know.
We just went, I mean, honestly, so I researched this because like we were worried, like, because we've heard, you pull from YouTube and you put it on your show, like that, like they won't show it and stuff like that. Basically, what I found out is like they just won't let you monetize it. Like, we're not making money off this show anyway. So like, basically, if you pull a clip from YouTube that's more than like, I don't know, like 10 seconds or something like that.
That's what that's a cutoff.
It's like a small cutoff. Like if you pull that, like when you go into the YouTube, like when you log into our Livid account and you go into like edit stuff, like when you had me fixing it so we could have it streamed through someone else's website, it like crosses out like monetization because we used YouTube, and it's like, okay, like that was it. Like, yeah. So
I don't want suing us either. I don't want like Amazon being like, oh, you showed the whole film. Like,
can could you like cut it up into like 9-second bits and put it in a folder so it just plays one after the other?
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or every 9 seconds we just have like a frame of something totally different, just like a single frame to like throw it off the algorithm or whatever.
Yeah. What was the show where we put that chimp? What was the name of that?
Oh, Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp. That was another good 60s, Jimmy. If you ever see this show, it was
okay.
I think Llamageddon was on the show too. It was they got a bunch of chimpanzees to like act as a detective series in the 60s.
Mm-hmm. And they watched the whole
the mouth, the voiceover. Yeah, we played the whole intro. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, you want to play?
We're not going to get it. We won't make any money off this show, but
I'll survive. I'm young.
What is it called? Lancelot? What?
Lancelot.
Speaking of money, you were asking $1 million for one single streaming.
Well, it wasn't for a single streaming. If you bought it, you could buy it for $1 million. So
the whole position.
I mean, so like, yeah. So there's like this weird thing on Amazon. I don't know if it's like a lawsuit yet or like what the deal is, but there's been some discrepancies between like what owning on Amazon or like a streaming service is versus like just permanently renting. Because there've been instances where somebody buys something on Amazon and then it goes off the platform. That's not here or there for us because we don't really care about that. We expected if you paid $1 million, like it's yours, like you can have this thing, right? But that being said, you didn't have to pay $1 million if you just want to do a one-time rental. That was only $999,999. So you could just rent it. Yeah. You didn't have to buy it.
But did you think that like there are some crazy heads out there, like he could actually have got someone to do that? Did you have the possibility to take that money?
There was a GoFundMe, but they didn't reach $1 million, and that's a generous way of saying they barely raised any money before Amazon had removed the film for being outside the regular price for films. Because they have kind of like a market tether where they're like, if your film is like too much more than like the expected price, then we're going to be angry at you.
John, this isn't the. Does this have the intro, or is this the whole episode?
Oh, I hope it's the intro. Well, it is a whole episode, but I think it's got the intro. Let's find out. Oh shoot, did I not do audio? Come on, I think it checked it off.
Come back.
Heck yeah!
Can you hear it?
Try to take
some audio.
world.
Only one agent is up to the task of stopping them, and only the veritable quandary has the classified case files of Lancelot Link, secret chimp.
Oh, here we go.
Lancelot Link, secret chimp. Stands for justice, have no fear. He's the agent that
That's like zoomed in or something.
Lance Link, you gotta come through. Everybody is counting on you. Beating out of heaven, an agent and a friend that shall stick by your side right to the end. Darwin is the leader on the side of good. Fight Trump agents like a good egg should. Oh, Lance Link, what you gonna do? You gotta stop Trump, drop something to you.
Trump.
Stand on butcher, you better beware. You stand cunning and he don't play fair. You got an evil chauffeur and Beatles his name. And Dragon Woman's lovely, but she's wicked all the same. Oh, Lance Link, what you gonna do when that Dr. Strange man comes up to you? There's Ali Assassin.
You couldn't make this.
It's such a long theme song.
I just went for that. The fact that it doesn't know when to end, it's amazing.
All right, I just want to see like 2 seconds of the show because this is where I freaking cracked up.
As members of the Evolution Revolution, a secret recording. They were led by Lance Link and the lovely Mata Hari.
They need to talk real quick.
This is
All right,
Wow.
let's get some fucking going on.
Yeah, there's some editing on that.
Very much for this group, the entire Evolution Revolution group. I want to say thanks. Thank you again. Yeah, thanks.
Dan, did you see the ape agent who was supposed to contact us?
Yeah, he's sitting over there at the corner table.
Golly, I wonder what's up, Lance.
We'll find out soon enough. He's on his way over here.
I don't want to stop it.
What does the note say, Mardo?
Our old enemy Chump is planning something big.
Apes' information was right. At the mansion headquarters of Chump, the evil organization of crime, Chump's latest plot was being discussed by its leader, the Baron, his henchman Crito, and the villainous Duchess.
Okay.
all right.
All right. I think that gives. Oh my God, I'm dying right now. Okay.
That's amazing. I had to watch all of that. That's
right?
so good.
I didn't want to stop it, but I didn't want to keep going either.
I don't know. There's something magical about having animals in like that kind of movie or TV show. Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah.
I feel bad because Jerry was going to ask a serious question, and we just did that.
I'm so sorry.
I don't think it was serious, but I completely forgot.
Sorry. Oh man. Anyways,
it's all right. Yeah, that was lovely. Okay.
You should just do a whole movie that's just an intro for 90 minutes like that. Just keep going.
that was the thing with the intro there is I remember the first time we watched that, like you think it's over and all of a sudden it picks back up and it goes for like another 30 seconds.
It's got to
It's
part.
so good.
Yeah.
My kids don't understand that though. I don't know if you noticed that, like John, with your kids, but like they're like, Dad, is this how the whole movie is? I get that all the time, and I'm like, no, hon. Like back in the day, they actually had intros to shows and movies.
Yeah.
So, like second, you know.
I'm not even kidding. My wife texted me during the show tonight and said, you know, I don't want to distract you during your show, but I just wanted to say it before I forget. We let Elizabeth watch too much YouTube. She's 3. We don't let her watch that much.
No.
But she's playing with her dolls in her room, and my wife said she heard her say, "If you like it, give me a thumbs up." And like she's like, "Oh my god!"
That's amazing.
The other thing, like my daughter was watching YouTube the other day. Like we literally give her like hardly any time on it because my son is like he's ridiculous. So like we don't want her being like that with it. So they said that like give us a thumbs up, and like she's like sitting there doing this like to the TV like she's like, "Daddy, did you know when I give a thumbs up it makes the next one play?" And I'm like, oh my god, like nope, no more YouTube, let's watch Muppet Babies. Yeah,
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But anyways,
so you got Desert Night in post, okay? You got your 100 games done. What are you currently working on? Yeah, tell us about what's going on. What keeps you busy?
Well, so currently, I'm hoping to get it done. Fingers crossed in February. My brother and I have a game named Ichi Zone. It's done about as good as a weird, terrible indie game could do critically. But we're ready to be done with it. We're ready to move on. The game is a crowd punishment party game. It was a game designed for local gatherings. And we're kind of trying to make a party game because most party games, if you ever played them, they kind of involve someone's attention for the entire duration of play. They're normally limited on players, and they don't really let you go and mingle and do other things. Like you have to be doing the game. So the point of this game is that it takes place in very short durations, like 5 minutes or less, and then it has waiting periods before the next session, so you can go do other things. And then when you're playing it, only one person controls the mouse, and then everyone else is effectively backseat driving, because a lot of it has to do with like following directions, like making sure that you're like leading the player to do the right choice. Everyone's kind of working together to say, no, do this, do that, and make sure that you're paying attention. And the way that all works is that it's a game that only it lasts 5 hours. May sound like a lot, but after 5 hours, it closes. There's no save states. It forgets all of your progress. You go right back down to ground zero. But when you're playing the game, you can beat it within a single play session, but it begins with an hour-long wait timer. And you can click these little falling cheese from the top. Every cheese you click is 1 second off, so you can speed it up, but no one's going to sanely sit there and do it, so you have to kind of switch off. And when you get past it, it gives you a ton of directions. If you follow directions to the T, you'll do great. You'll do fine. Everything's solid. You can carve time off that wait timer. But if you misfollow any of the directions, which includes clicking with the wrong mouse button on any screen that it tells you which to click on, you go right back to that hour-long wait timer.
Oh god!
So that's the premise of the game. We were pitching the publishers and talking to people before the pandemic hit, and then surprise, surprise, the pandemic hit, and it becomes very hard to publish party games when you can't. Have people together.
Can't gather. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So fortunately we were able to show it at a festival actually this month, the beginning of this month in Maryland, which was great, but it wasn't quite the same. Like, less people, everyone's still kind of freaked about COVID. It's one of these things where there's people you haven't seen in a long time. You want to give them a hug, but it's this weird kind of like, you have to like vocally initiate, like, are we cool to like touch?
Good or
weird about that? Yeah, exactly. Like what's everyone's kind of like an introvert, like regardless of what they were beforehand.
Yeah. I think of Demolition Man when they do like the hand thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like these weird interactions. Like it was great to see people again, and I'm glad we were able to get the game out. But my hope is to get it done this next month, because as much as I love it, like I just want to move on. And then the other one is Unitar. That's the other big project I'm trying to finish up and just kind of get out. I don't know, within 2022.
Have you guys looked at anything like Comic Cons and stuff like out of state? I know California's crazy, but like, man, I think you guys would crush at like just doing Comic
Con. I should consider that. We haven't. We honestly haven't thought about that. We
come up to New Hampshire. Granite Con. We'd love to have you. We'll put you right next.
Oh heck yeah! Okay, cool. That'd be great. Yeah. I'd love to organize that because that'd be amazing. That'd be so much fun.
I think big freaking Llamageddon banner in the back, and then
dude, you would be surprised. I think at how the audience would receive you guys. Like, yeah.
I've been honestly trying to think about like if you have any panels and like you'd love to help, or if there's any way I could help you guys, like just let me know.
Yeah,
but like I've been really into trying to figure out, because the problem with 69 minutes is it's not quite like short enough for like a 60-minute panel. But I've been trying to figure out if there's a way that it's like there's some kind of conference or festival that it's like, let's just do a panel where we just show the movie and just talk over it or during it, like you were kind of saying earlier.
Yeah, we should set that up. That'd be awesome. We're looking for expanding out the show and doing fun things.
Yeah, like I just like that'd be fun. Like I know I get a hoot, but my biggest thing is I just genuinely don't know how many people have seen it, and I don't know if anyone else would actually enjoy it. But I figure if it's like a midnight thing, like it's it's a goofy movie. You sit there, you have the people that like made it, they're laughing at it. You have permission to laugh at it. It's cool. Like everyone's having fun.
Can we get Howie to come
set up the drinking game like up front though too, right? Like you could literally
exactly,
like say, hey guys, here's your list. Like when you see this, take a drink, like stuff like that. It could be fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure I could get Howie Doing involved as well, and then also the DP, my brother. He's also in the film too. Like I'm sure we could get like a contingent, and then kind of once we get a couple core players, like kind of spread out to the other people involved and say, hey, this thing's happening. Like, do you want to come?
Yeah,
that could be definitely cool.
Do you still talk with Danny too? You still talk with him and those guys?
Very little. I was really close to the animator during the film, and it's like nothing went wrong. It's just like you move apart, life happens. Yeah. God, it's been a couple of years since I spoke to him. I mean, on top of COVID too.
Right.
But I definitely would reach out if we had some kind of like thing going on. Like I'm sure they'd be stoked.
It'd be pretty cool if you take all his shirts and you talked about like auctioning off some props or something. Like
dude, yeah, that'd be awesome. Actually, the person I think I'm closest with besides the DP is the guy that did the rap at the end.
Yes.
Whenever somebody on Twitter or any social media says that they love the rap, they're like, this rap salvaged the movie. Like I always send it his way because he just loves that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, just to have original scores in films is something.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's a Yeah.
I may be in the minority, but like I swear, like something that I'm always searching for is it's like I don't care how competent somebody is. What I care is that they leave a lasting impression. It's like you can have like a million composers that are like, I can make an epic, medieval film fight score. And it's like, this is great, but it sounds like all the other ones I've listened to, versus the guy that's like, I don't know, I tried something different and it kind of has like armpit fart sounds in it, but like it meshes weirdly with the fighting. And I'm like, that's great. Like people will remember this. It'll be like a cool scene. Like, cool, let's go.
Like I think of like Danny Elfman, man. Like you hear that he has like a sound, like it's Danny Elfman.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure before Danny Elfman, like even if no one knew who it was, they'd be like listening to his score and like, I don't know, this doesn't fit, man. I don't think it's quite there. And then it's like, no, like it's a whole vibe. Like you get it if you get it. Like it fits. Don't worry.
Who did the rock intro to Llamageddon?
The rock intro. That was a local band.
Nice.
I did not have anything. So I didn't have anything to do with contacting them to get them to write it, which was awesome. And then the other one is the people that did the music for the actual film, the kind of like synthy score. I think Howie was the one that kind of solicited them for that. And it was one of these things where I was showing the movie without the score, just to kind of gauge audience reaction and pacing and stuff before then. But as soon as the score was involved, I was just like, holy crap, I don't think they could have gotten a better score. Like that score is just so on point. It's like, it has like Trolls 2 vibes. It's just like, it is there.
Oh
God, I don't know if you understand how many times I've had to listen to the Trolls and Trolls 2 soundtrack.
Oh no! Did you just show up at a friend's house and it's like a smear out like they ice you, but it's like, cheers, we're gonna watch Trolls 2 now. Like, what's
No, my daughter is obsessed with Trolls.
With Trolls? Oh, that's amazing.
So, and now she's old enough to understand that Barb is like the villain, but like when she was 2, she just liked rock music, so she wanted to be Barb. And like now, when she wants to be like naughty, she puts on her black and pink dress and she says she's Barb and she starts like acting naughty, and I'm like, no, like you're Poppy, like get the hell out of here with that. Yeah.
That's really funny.
I'll be like Elizabeth, and she's like, no, my name's Barb, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Daddy, you remember my name's Barb? Yeah, you just said that. Like it's over and over, like every 5 seconds I'll be making lunch. Daddy, I'm Barb, remember? And I'm like, oh. Yeah.
No Disney in this house. We're a Trolls 2 family.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, so that's it. Like now, like, because in the car, it's like my son was into 80s like hairband stuff, and
It's
my daughter's into the
amazing.
Trolls soundtrack. So like I made a playlist alternating Trolls song, 80s
God.
rock song, like, and it was just back and forth.
You must feel like a paranoid schizophrenic, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like ah!
Well, the good thing about Trolls 2 is they do some 80s covers. Like they got Ozzy and some other stuff on there, and that worked for a bit with my son. And then he realized it was for my daughter, and he got pissed at me. So
We are full-fledged troll hunters right now in this household. Troll hunters.
oh yeah,
all
Troll Hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we had the Richard Hamilton on. He didn't write that, right? Like he helped with that, but he wrote How to Train a Dragon.
Market continuity, and he did How to Train Your Dragon too. Yeah.
Those are both awesome. Like How to Train Your Dragon was surprisingly, I don't know. There's like a couple films that I'm just like, whoa, this was way better than I thought it would be. Like Klaus, How to Train Your Dragon, like whoa.
Yeah,
those are good films.
Yeah, Klaus was awesome. I watched that this year for the first time. It's been on Netflix for a few years now.
Right?
And,
yeah.
My son wasn't into it a few years ago when it first came out. He was too young, and like this year he was like really into it. But it was good.
I don't know how they did that. Troll Hunters, that was live action, right?
No, that's CGI.
CGI? Okay.
Yeah, Del Toro.
Oh, okay, yeah. My bad. What am I thinking about?
And I'm proud of my girls for finding it on their own too. It wasn't like, hey, I think you guys will like this. They just said, hey, Dad, check out this cool show we like. I was like, oh, good job. It's actually decent.
That's
glad
awesome.
You have good taste. I was telling them about Llamageddon tonight. And they're like, we got to watch that. I'm like, I don't
God.
know. I'm like, Daddy's interviewing the guy that did the Llamageddon movie. And they're like, that sounds cool. Can we watch it? And I'm like,
yeah.
give it a couple years. I learned just this year that one of my cousins watched the film, and that was really fun. Like I didn't hear it firsthand. I just heard that like one of her friends was like putting on a movie at some like party she was at, and it was like Llamageddon's, and she's like, oh, my cousin's in that. And I was like, oh God, like I can't wait till the next time we can meet up in person to hear how that went.
I was talking to a guy at work this week, and I'm like, yeah, I'm interviewing one of the guys from Llamageddon. He's like, oh no shit, my wife watched that this week. Like that's awesome. Yeah.
Did you send it out in a mass email to the coworkers, or?
It feels like social wire.
They
get fired.
Yeah.
Please.
Do you guys get any like analytics back about like how many people are watching that or anything? Does Amazon tell?
I know we do for Amazon, but the director set that up, so I don't have access to that one, and I haven't really been like it might be just like a social thing on my end, but I really don't feel like I should like be prodding him saying like, hey, like tell me what the thing's doing.
Sure.
But I have like the analytics from Twitter because I'm the one that's like mostly running that, and we used to have a website, and I had the analytics from that website. Was like okay.
I got mine via torrent. It's very hard to track if you download torrent wise. I don't think you
believe it
kind of control. And there are many people that have seen
the problem with torrent. Yeah.
I might put it back up on. We had it on IMDb for a while, originally as an accident, because we were trying to put up a trailer and submit it to some festivals and stuff. Surprisingly, it wasn't a festival, Scum Dance in Nevada, where it actually won audience choice. And the fun thing about that was that a lot of pen names were used for the film, specifically so if we couldn't go to a festival, somebody else could go using the pen name. And we were actually able to use it for that festival for the first time, which was really exciting. So someone else showed up who was, purportedly someone that was in the film to receive the award at this festival. And that was pretty awesome. Like it was cool to see that like plot arc play out.
Is that why it's different in the credits at the end? Is that why?
So we all used fake names. It was just part of the gimmick.
right.
And then I think over time, originally, the director co-writer was thinking people were putting their own names on the IMDb, and he was kind of disappointed that people were giving up the jig. Like, oh man, I can't believe people are doing this. But at some point, I forget what platform, it was either Instagram or Twitter, but somebody reached out to me and asked, like, hey, were you in Llamageddon? And I kind of said, like, well, maybe, depends. And the next thing I know, I was credited on IMDb. So I think what's been happening is somebody will like figure it out and then just like link it, and then it just happens over time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anyone individually like trying to go out of their way nefariously to say, I want credit to be in this film.
We've interviewed people that have, you know, pen writer names or stage names. That's just what they do, you know.
Yeah,
that's normal. So
I mean, I was happy with it. You know, we all thought it was pretty funny to do it that way. But well, I might put it back up on IMDb because I think that's probably more universally like watchable. Like, it's not as well known, but it's not like we're making any money off of it on Amazon or Tubi or whatever. You know, like most of it's just about like people enjoying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an accident because like we were trying to just submit it to festivals, and I guess one of the options is to host it through IMDb, and it was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then it turned out like, oops, it's public on there, and anyone with an IMDb account can look at it.
Well, yeah, they got their own app now too on smart TV, so it's like
it's crazy.
Yeah,
but I have no problems with that. I guess I don't want to say I guess, like I have no problems with that. Period. You know, I'd rather have people watching it and enjoying
eyes
it.
on it. Yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of people are watching it. I'd be surprised to see the metrics. I think, especially with the you know, the pandemic and lockdown, people were watching all kinds of crazy stuff, and you run out of things, and you're like, oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I think I found you guys through like Riff Tracks. I was watching a lot of Riff Tracks, and like it just suggested like.
Oh, really? That's funny.
I think it was something like that. So that'd be really cool. If you guys got a Riff Tracks, that would be awesome.
Oh, I would love that.
I thought he was messing with me when he was telling me about a movie called Llamageddon. Like when you like, I'm like, is that real?
There was a game similar to the was it the Friday the 13th game you were talking about?
Yeah.
There's a game on Steam, that platform I was talking about earlier, called Dead by Daylight, where they kind of like envelop all of these horror things. And I swear to God, at least like twice a month, I'll get some kind of tweet to the Llamageddon account where somebody's like tweeting at Dead by Daylight, like add Llamageddon to it. And it's like, I don't think they'll ever do that, but I just love the idea of a horror game that has all these classic villains where it's like, you know, Freddy Krueger or like
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers. Yeah, exactly. Like Pumpkinhead. And then all of a sudden it's like, you get to be a llama that shoots laser eyes. It's just like all these classic villains, and then just this like, and a llama. And it's like, oh, okay, like I guess I'm the llama for this round.
There is a llama board game too. I don't know if that's fan
art. I didn't know that. I'm sure that's unrelated to us. I mean, it's a pretty obvious. I think it's a pretty obvious pun, but
and it's wrongly spelled.
Yeah.
When you type in Llamageddon, the next search that comes up is the autofill is budget. So people are curious on like your budget on there. You don't have to disclose that, but apparently that's what people are really interested in. But.
Yeah, no, so I mean, I think it's public knowledge. The budget was about $3,000.
Wow, no kidding.
Very low. That's
awesome.
That's also understanding that it was a college project and no one was getting paid for anything. And then if we were to do a sequel, one of the reasons why it's taking a while is because we want to do it like as real humans.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that everyone's being compensated. And, you know, I want to make sure the paperwork's all straight just so like everyone's fine and cool and everything.
I'm sure you could get geek fans like me, man. I would just do it for free. Just to be
we would just get murdered by a llama. Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm sure you could merchandise stuff, you know, backpacks and mugs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, make enough money to produce at least at least a sequel, another one. You know, you could have a
I just want to see the screening of people that show up.
It'd be great to see your kid going to the school with a Llamageddon backpack.
Oh no! Oh, I feel so bad.
Llamageddon hoodie? No, like you pull the hood up and it's got the red eyes. Like, oh man.
Yeah,
I made
another cool idea.
I made this video game called "You Must Be 18 or Older to Enter." You must be 18 or older to enter, which is a game about being a kid in the 1990s and looking at porn for the first time. And when I say that, you have to understand, it's not like an erotic game. It was meant to be a horror game where there's no violence, monsters, or death. Like it's like a safe horror game, because horror is like, and obviously Llamageddon falls into a lot of these tropes. But I was wondering, could you make a horror game that avoids these like negative tropes, right? So the game is about self-discovery. It's like you're a kid in the 1990s and you're worried about your parents coming home and like somebody at the playground told you about this thing called porn and you want to be cool, so you're looking it up. So every once in a while says like, do I like this? Do I even know what this is? That kind of stuff, right? And it did pretty well for like a festival game. Like it did its rounds and it's all great. And I'm working on a sequel very slowly, like a much larger kind of scale thing. But there was definitely this one interaction that I just kind of fear of, like one of these festival things where it's like you'd be like what you were saying, like you'd be amazed, like some kid walking to school with like a Llamageddon backpack. Was I was in the Boy Scouts and my dad was still involved in the Boy Scout troop after I had graduated, and I made this thing like I want to say towards the end of my graduate school like tenure, like when I was about to graduate. And I think it was my dad that told me at some point that like one of the Boy Scouts asked him like, hey, like, did your son make this game? You must be 18 or older to enter. And my dad at that point already knew what the game was and what it is. And he was like, oh shit, like how do I talk to this like pre-college age kid about this horror game my son made? And I was just like, oh no, it's like I don't know, it's like imagining like some elementary school students saying like I love Llamageddon and just being like, I don't know how to feel about this. Like I'm glad, but like thank you. I don't know if I don't we can talk about this in like 4 years. Are your parents here to supervise like what's going on?
That's awesome.
I think the follow-up to your game would be now you're 40 and the character gets lower back pain for no reason. Just gains weight.
Good. It's like I'm sure
back
like,
memories.
I'm sure it's something that like everyone's dealt with that's like made something like a mature piece of media, like regardless of like what the content is, and like having some like 12-year-old say like I love your thing, and just like being like this was mature, or like like PG-13 for a reason. Like right. What are you doing?
What do you guys I think it's 16 plus on Prime, right? Llamageddon is.
I think so, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Did they put that on? You guys put that on?
Oh, sorry.
Does Prime do that, or you guys tell them to put that on?
As far as I'm aware, a lot of it had to do with just like putting down the various things your film entails.
Yeah.
Like, does your film have X, Y, and Z? And then they have like an auto thing that decides what the age range is, and that's kind of their like fail safe. So it's like either you're lying to them because it's like, oh, well, your film actually has these things and had a lower rating, so you're a bad person, or you tell them what your film has, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the rating we're going to give it because that's what you provided us with.
I love that smoking is a thing now. Like everybody used to smoke in like the 80s, 90s films. It's people ripping butts.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man, my son was watching Ghostbusters and like Bill Murray's just like ripping him like in the movie. So
the first, we watched the sequel recently and it was so bad. Like the second one, I forgot how bad that one was.
The Ghostbusters 2 with the painting.
Yeah. As a child, I thought it was amazing. Or you watched it recently? I haven't watched the newest one yet, but like
new one's
in preparation. Good. I've heard like it was a good revisit. Sorry.
No, it does well, like tying in the old movies. Like that's the thing. Like there's parts where I was like, well, that could have been done better. That kind of just tossed in. But no, I liked it. Surprisingly, my son didn't like it that much. But it's mostly about kids, relatives of the ghost. Like it's not. I'm not giving anything away. The trailer, the main character is Egon's granddaughter.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, this is right up his wheelhouse here. He's gonna love this. It's like someone a couple years older than him, basically with fucking Ghostbusters gear.
Yeah, it's like kind of an idol, or it should be.
Yeah, but he would rather watch the other ones, I guess. He hasn't watched. I bought it on Amazon when it came out for him for his birthday, and we've only watched it the one time.
That's wild.
He's probably watched Ghostbusters 1 like 100 times.
That's
like
crazy.
Yeah,
it's a priceless
another soundtrack.
Yeah,
that I had to listen to
for on end, never on end.
Yeah.
What's in like your top 3 films, Jimmy? If you had to like go to an island with 3 movies.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna have to say The Room, There Will Be Blood, and A Serious Man.
Nice.
Those
Good
are
choice.
the 3.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
just off the top of my head. If I had like an expanded 5, I think Metropolis would be in there. Like
Yes,
the
yeah,
1920s expressionist.
Yeah.
Like I love that one.
That's
I
a
had
great
huge
one.
poster of that. I had like a 6 foot
Oh,
tall, like one
oh,
sheet of the film.
so good. Talking about practical effects. Oh
Right.
man, it's such an inspiration.
Man, There Will Be Blood was freaking incredible.
I love it.
I haven't watched that in so many years either. I have it on DVD. I don't even, my DVDs are like in a storage box. But, yeah. No, I'm trying to, like, I think Back to the Future, The Shining, and
Back to the Future is amazing too.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I would want to have a comedy because I'd want to laugh if I only had 3 movies to ever watch.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Dumb and Dumber. I don't know. Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I got some ridiculous here on my list. You know, Superman 1.
Superman 1 with Christopher Reeves?
Christopher Reeves?
It's, for me, it was fantastic at the time. I was 8 years old.
Right.
And that hit me like a, you know, like a big truck, because I wasn't the same after the film, because
oh man,
he has everything to be ridiculous, but just worked right, because so much talented that guy was, and he could make that believable and fun, and it has everything. It's I'd say it's an all-time superhero movie. No one can top that. The second one would be Papillon.
I don't know that.
Oh yeah, what was that? I want to look it up.
Papillon is a French term for butterfly.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic movie. Dustin Hoffman, Steve McQueen.
Yeah, I remember now.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
It is great. And the other one is a very short film. Very few people had seen this one. It's Appaloosa.
I feel like I've heard of that one, actually.
Appaloosa is a story of a guy who has his horses stolen, and he goes to retrieve the horse.
I thought you were going to say Llamageddon was number 3. I was
oh shit, we failed.
I pray it's not anyone's number 3.
That's on my
It has to be their number 1. Come on.
That on that category is on my top 5. You know?
Yeah,
that's amazing. I'm going to watch these later. These sound really good.
Yeah, I know. I just went with the freaking standard, everyone's favorite movies. Pretty much.
My brother. I want to hear your Joel, but my brother recently convinced me to watch The Wrestler, and that one really kind of hit me emotionally.
Oh my god, that movie's amazing.
Yeah,
it is. It is good.
Yeah. I would say probably Goodfellas, right? That's great. Back to the Future was on there. That's a great one. Boy, and then trying to find the 3 that could sneak in there that go forever, and I have to watch that always, that I never get bored of. I'm going to throw Beetlejuice in there. I'm going to go rogue.
Oh,
Beetlejuice.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. That one, you can watch it all the time. It's always fun.
I didn't see this one. I'm taking my notes here.
Goodfellas.
God, Beetlejuice, man.
To a cross section of my
If you ever if you ever want to see like Tim Burton's, like if you ever like, well, who's Tim Burton? I think that's the one I would like throw people at. Like, this is pretty much it. This is the essence. Anything else you can kind of like rebound off of that. You know, it's like, okay, I can see him a little bit of everything. Like Night Before Christmas is great, but that's not quite as. It's definitely more like Disney kind of princess than like Beetlejuice is like, whoa, everything's stripes. Like, look me I'm doing the crazy thing. Wow, look at this. You know,
it was so my wife and I were like, because my son likes scary stuff, and like Beetlejuice seemed like the perfect thing for like a kid, right? Like creepy for kids.
Oh no!
So
you have nightmares? I'm sorry.
No, we didn't show him. We didn't show him. Like we're like, should we watch Beetlejuice with him? Yeah, that sounds like right up his alley. And we watched it. Literally in the first 10 minutes, there was like 10 like phrases or words that were like, oh nope, like stuff in.
That's the era though. Back then,
back in the 80s, yeah, it was different. Yeah,
shit. Cared, man. Like that was just normal talk. That's how we talk.
It's bad enough that I let him watch Home Alone now, and like I'm like, he's like, he is Kevin McAllister like now, like
no,
like before he watched the movie, like the way he talks to us, like where he's like, I don't want to see any of you jerks again, like stuff like that. Like I just picture my kid talking like that, like so I'm like, he's just gonna learn lines from Kevin McAllister.
That's how we talked back then, John. We were tough kids back then. We were street cred. What's up?
I'd be worried about the time you decide to fly to Hawaii and like your son is on the plane and you're like, oh shit.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice was filmed in East Corinth, Vermont, and that's only like an hour and a half from here.
Oh, really?
So, I've been up there a couple times, and like the hill where the house was is like the hill's still there, obviously, but the house they tore it down. But you could see like where the hardware store was, where he bought like the model, where he got his models, and then the what was that, like Miss Sherry School for Girls or something, where Lydia Dietz went to school. That building's still there. So it's kind of like they put up a covered bridge. The bridge is there, but the covered part was fake when they drove through that. But it's cool, so you can go there and like kind of see the Beetlejuicy town, and it's like 90 minutes from here. So it's pretty rad.
Huh?
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So if you come up to New England, that's worth the trip just to go kind of see those landmarks and things, and it's cool. They should build that house. Some like eccentric millionaire should buy that property and house, like the actual that. Yeah, that's what if I hit the
like
Powerball.
Yeah,
that's what I'll do. I'll just go put that. To entertain people. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that is a cash cow waiting to happen.
Right? Yeah.
Like you buy the Beetlejuice property.
Yeah, it's like a 600-person town. Nobody's up there. There's nothing up there. Yeah.
You do tours and shit. Like speaking of Home Alone, like that house is now an Airbnb or something. Like
that's crazy.
They did the Home Alone experience this past winter, where like you and I wish I lived near Chicago or wherever it was. It's in Illinois somewhere. Like
Chicago.
They set it all up. Like you. Basically, they have like a Kraft mac and cheese dinner for you, like in the scene where he's like getting it all ready and shit. Like they like everything, like they have the decorations and stuff, the decor, like it's like a Home Alone like buffs like dream. Like, and I watch Home Alone every year, and now more than once because of my kid. I probably watched it 10 times this winter. But we actually, my wife and I, one year for Halloween, my wife and I, before kids, went to a Halloween party at a bar as Marv and Harry.
Really? That's amazing.
We crushed it too. I wish I could find the costumes. Like I was Marv. I did the whole iron thing on my head. I had the fro. I had like we went to like Goodwill and found like costumes and shit. And my wife was Harry, and she we bought a bald cap, and we like ripped the top of the hat off and made it look burnt and shit. We like glued feathers to it, so like it was, and we did the M on her hand. It was awesome. We haven't done anything like that since we've had kids, but we used to go all out for Halloween. Yeah.
But Jimmy, you could do the hot tub experience at the house you guys filmed that for your Airbnb.
Electrocute people live.
Have the radio.
Like rent a llama for the week. Like you have a llama just going around the area. Yeah.
That'd be good. I think the craziest thing that come out of the movie was God, it was a couple of years ago. Somebody sent me a tattoo they got on one of the games I've made, and I was like, holy crap, that's crazy. And then recently I saw somebody got a tattoo of Llamageddon, like the film. And I was like, whoa, what? Like, so that's I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's a trifecta. I don't know what the third one is. Like maybe writing a book and getting a tattoo from something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm sorry, like we're talking about like people dressing up as things. That kind of just jumped to like people doing things to their body with this stuff. Yeah, but I was like, that'd be crazy. I was gonna say like you could do John with your wife, The Shining.
Oh man,
you could do that with your kids.
Be Jack Torrance. Oh yeah, have my son be freaking. He's a little older now, so my daughter would probably have to be Danny.
Could they both be? Could they play the twins together?
Oh, geez. Yeah, that could work.
Assuming he's cool with that, but
he probably. I mean, if it creeps someone out, he would be. He likes to
hold your sister's hand. Make sure she doesn't get lost.
Yeah. We in front of me. I'm not gonna turn the camera around because it's clutter, but like there's a bunch of Halloween animatronics because my son's obsessed.
That's awesome.
So like when we go trick or treating, he wants to get back so he can hand candy out and scare the hell out of people. So like last year he had a skeleton costume. This year
Mhm.
he went as a cop, but last year he was gonna be a zombie, and then like 2 weeks before he's like, I want to be a SWAT officer, and I'm like, huh? Like you don't even okay. I think some kid at school got him into cops or something, but so like 2 years ago he had a skeleton like Reaper outfit, and we got back and he's like, I want to scare people. I'm like, okay. So my sister-in-law and I were sitting at the front of the garage, and he was over by a table because it was like pandemic trick-or-treating basically. So like he was sitting over by the table with the candy jar or candy bowl in his hands, and the first kid that walked up grabbed candy. He didn't move. He was too shy. Like he couldn't do it. Next person that comes up isn't a kid. It's a freaking old lady with like her grandkid. The old lady goes to grab candy out, and he jumps up and she screams, and he just I'm sitting there trying not to laugh, and he just sits back down, doesn't even say anything to her, just sits back down with the candy and like doesn't even make eye contact, just looks straight ahead. And
Holy
she
shit.
like leaves, like they were laughing, whatever, and I'm like cracking up. I'm like, Will, like you just scared the crap out of that lady. She's gonna have a heart attack. Like if I scared someone like that, I would have cracked up. He just sat back down and was like this, like with his skeleton mask. Like,
he's destined for great things.
Is this fan art or is this an official?
Oh
no, that was before the film.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, yeah, that shirt existed before the film existed.
Oh wow! Yeah, the poster before the
right?
main
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
In typical fashion, which I love.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The shirt predicted the film.
All right, Jimmy. I'm going to ask you the last question for tonight.
Okay.
The man, the myth. What is the impact you want to have on your audience?
With this film in particular, or nebulously?
I'm talking about the films that you're producing and the ones that are about to come. What is your aim? And what is the impact you want to make on people by doing your films, your creations? Got frozen there.
No, I'm sorry. It was a really good question. I had to think for a moment.
Oh, this is what he does. He'll put people on the spot with
the
deep.
We talk poop jokes, and then Rogerio gets deep. That's why
you drill them to the core, and then you strike.
Yeah, and extracting blood from you.
Yeah. I think honestly, it's connection. I think it comes down to just connecting with other people. And it took me a moment because a lot of my games tend to be more serious in nature. Like even that game I was talking about that makes people wait an hour, like it's obviously kind of a riff, and a lot of the games are really stupid and silly, and they kind of tend to be like very early 90s and early 2000s Flash games where it's hard to like get angry at it, but it's trying to create a community of people that come together to play it. And I know you were asking more about films, but like I think that's just kind of a river that goes through most of the stuff I make. Yeah, exactly. Where it's like with Llamageddon, my background, like I said, is mostly in storytelling through various mediums. Like I've done stories, scripts, games, like this kind of stuff. And in the films I make, a lot of it has to do with like, what's the thing you hide that you can talk to your friends about? Like, what are the hidden things you can put in the film that doesn't like destroy the movie if you don't get it, but will like create something that you can go to somebody and say, hey, like you won't believe the thing that like I just caught that like you missed. Like what creates that rewatch atmosphere? Like honestly, when I was making Llamageddon, I think when I write most of my scripts or I make most of my movies, outside of just that kind of like drawing moment per scene or what's the thing that's going to hold the audience, something I often think about is like, what's something you can put in here that like an audience could turn into a potential, and I don't want to make this sound like it's too overly designed, because I don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show because of this reason. Like I feel like films like Trolls 2 or Birdemic or The Room are way more natural in how the audience kind of like naturally pulled these rituals out of the film. So it's not necessarily that we're putting these things in the film to say you need to react to this, these are moments you have to do the thing, but it's just kind of setting the audience up for success, like giving them opportunities to latch onto, to say this is something I really enjoyed and this is something I want to like celebrate with other people and come back to. be that a very serious film, where something like you have to watch this because of the emotional impact, which, maybe someday, or if I never get out of this kind of test phase of like finding my voice and finding what I want to do and putting things out that people can enjoy, like just these moments of it's like, you won't believe this thing I watched, like, so for instance, some of the things we put in Llamageddon is it's like, I think my character has a line where he's calling his sister a bung-headed twizzle. And it's like, honestly, in retrospect, I think the line is like pretty cringy. Like, I don't think it's really funny, but the reason why I did it at the time was because the film is filled with so many cuss words and like cursing and shit. Like, I thought it'd be really funny if like the one moment in the film he's trying to deliver like a serious line, like rebuting his sister, is the only time the film is like, you know what, we're not going to deliver like the actual punch. We're going to like 100% pull back on that. Right. And that hasn't really landed. So it's like, okay, cool. Like, I learned that, but it's fine. Like, you don't like that. Like, we move on from it. Or there's a point where they all kind of like mix a terrible like mixed drink together. It's like the room has like the scotchka, and we're like, well, how can we push that to its limits in Llamageddon? So it's, you have to make her a drink, and it's like part vodka, part beer, like part like Maker's Mark or like some like awful thing. And it was just to see like, would anyone ever actually do this? And it's like, if they don't, it's like, cool, like we learned our lesson, like we won't try that kind of crazy stupid thing again. But the point is, like, it's all kind of like designed to like have people kind of talk to each other and figure out if they want to like devise things or create stuff about it, which I guess, in some ways isn't necessarily serve the narrative arc of the film. Like, the film could probably be stripped of like 40 minutes of content to have the story flow fine. Like, the character development doesn't matter very much, but it's more about like the experience and the like, whoa, like I can't believe that's actually the path they chose. Like, okay. Or how we end up with like the weirdest, most unlucky car from the Get Out of, or like you were saying, like the mismatched, like bizarrely cast characters, where it's like, is this person really trying to play this role, where it just kind of lands in this like, what a I don't know, what an operatic fumble, I think it's just it's the connection. Like, that's what I like about it. It's like I was saying with the music, even like someone can be 10 out of 10, a symphony playing amazing actor performer, and if their music just sounds like any other like Lord of the Rings the video game epic music, I would rather choose a amateur who hasn't released anything before, as long as their music actually like strikes a chord and creates something that people will remember and can like kind of communicate about and like say, hey man, that was like pretty unique. Like, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I think like It Follows, like that movie just hits me right in my head, just because it's like the guy normally did like video game soundtracks. Like, there's a game called Fez that was really famous that he did the soundtrack for, and then they solicited him and brought him on to like make the soundtrack for It Follows, and it has that kind of like 8-bit chiptune griminess, and it's just so memorable because of that. Like, that kind of thing where it's like they could have gone a more traditional route, but they chose the interesting one instead. I hope that hits the answer. It's just like, I think it's connection. It's creating something that you're like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I want to share this.
Yeah, and that's something else about the film, is that people know that it's deliberate. Like, you didn't do that. You were not trying to do something else. You aimed for that kind of that germ, and you hit it, and people get it. People get it. Like I said, you spent like three grand.
Yeah, I think overall it was probably closer to 4, but it was less than 5. I can say that much.
Jimmy, our comic was more than that. Just to give you context.
It's fantastic, because like with 4 grand, like there are people all over the world watching it. Pissing that pants. Watching the most idiotic scenes ever shot, and that is something.
And the audio is miserable.
Yeah, it
That's
is
the cringiest part.
Yeah, but we can see that you extracted something from nothing, and you made that kind of it's about to become a masterpiece someday, and that genre. You can compare with the greatest of the worst, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and that's not easily done.
We'll do a remastered version at some time, and
no, please don't.
It's like the remake of Psycho. Like every time someone tries to redo Psycho,
right?
Yeah,
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That means a lot.
I don't know why they remake good movies. Why don't they remake like shit movies? Make them
right?
Good? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like I don't know if I would watch. Oh crap! It wasn't Evil Dead. What came before Evil Dead? I feel terrible right now. Was it Evil Dead? No, so sorry. Armored Darkness is after. So Evil Dead 2. Like they haven't remade Evil Dead 2, have they? I don't think they made Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2.
No, they did. No, they did the Evil Dead with the female lead.
No, that was like a spin-off series though.
The spin-off series, yeah.
Yeah.
Now they did the Ash versus Evil Dead show, which is awesome.
Right.
And then I think they're making a new Ash movie.
Okay, yeah. I think
with Bruce Campbell, I think. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Oh god, he was great in Bubba Hotep. Sorry, that's like a total
He's awesome in
sidetrack.
everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you see Black Friday? Like that movie was freaking awesome.
I haven't. You said Black Friday?
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie, a horror movie that just came out, Christmas horror comedy. And honestly, it kind of has an Evil Dead feel to it. I don't know, they're not zombies, but like the people that come to basically it's Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving, right? So it's like the busiest shopping day of the year. Okay. And the store gets overtaken by these like freaking savage like humans that are like turning into like these flesh-eating monsters.
Documentary is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mockumentary.
Real deal. Yeah, I mean Bruce Campbell in that movie is just like the opposite of Ash, which is weird to see, but it's still I had a fun time watching it.
I'm excited. Y'all have given me like so many movie recommendations that I need to watch now. I have a queue. Like every time I'm typing, it's because I'm like researching something you've talked about. Yeah. But it's like I swear, like I don't know if it's like a one-hit wonder like Llamageddon or not, but it seems like there's like these films that are just like so bizarrely like they hit something regardless of how bad they are. Like Birdemic was an inspiration to me because the audio is just so terrible, but it accidentally plays with it. Like where it just cuts in and out of like the static and like dubbed over lines, and it just creates these weird comedic breaks where it was like I had no idea, because like one of the first things you ever learn, like even not in film school, is it's like no one cares about the video quality as long as the audio quality is good. And then it's like, surprise, here's a film that tells you that everything you've learned is wrong because it succeeded with an even smaller budget than the professors that like told you like could be successful has done it, you know. But it's like I don't know if it's like recreatable, because I think there's definitely some genuineness where it's like you have to like lack some kind of understanding of the craft in order to be able to do it. And I think Llamageddon kind of hit that because we were all kind of graduating, we weren't quite there yet, so we're trying to figure out if like we have to replicate that, or if there's like a, you know, I feel like faking it never works,
right?
But it's like we're trying to figure out, because we tried a couple different methods. Like we have a script we have written by somebody who's never done scripts before for films, so we just told him like, write this thing, we're just going to try to make it, so not changing anything, you know, just doing it that way. Or when we're going to pass off a film to somebody who's like just working on their first like video editing project, so the editing is like a little different. Just these ways to try to like retain some of that desire for you know, creation, but without the understanding that makes these things such gems. But I don't know if we're going to hit it. Like it's an ongoing mystery.
I imagine, you know, in your area, I mean, you probably get a lot of interns and stuff in LA that they can get for that kind of stuff.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Hey, you want to be the editor?
Hey, you want to be co-director?
Yeah. Here you go, kid. You made it.
Producer.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Let's go.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna let you continue because it's
1:30 in the morning in Brazil.
1:30 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good stopping point anyways. I mean, we're at 2.5 hours here. So we went an hour. This is what we do sometimes. We say we'll stop at 90 minutes and then we keep going. But
we never do.
I had a good time. So
I'm so glad.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Congratulations! It was an honor to be here tonight with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep doing it. Keep putting a smile on our faces.
I'll try. And thank you all. This has been an absolute pleasure. I haven't had a opportunity to chat with people at Llamageddon like this since COVID began. It's been great.
I'm serious. Like, we should set up, talk with John offline. We'll set up, like, maybe do a viewing party. That could be awesome. So
I think
it'd be fun.
I'm down. Yeah. Please reach out.
That'd be super cool.
Bye.
All right, Rogerio. Good night.
Awesome. Good night.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you so much, Jimmy. It's been awesome. Any last words you want to get in before I roll it here?
Follow your dreams, because even if you don't know what you're doing, sometimes it'll be watchable.
Fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Super. Like I said earlier, total fan, man. So this is an awesome moment. I think you have a cult classic, so it's an honor to be able to talk. And,
thank you.
Any projects you're working on, if you want to come back anytime and promote them or talk about them, man, we'd love to have you. It's been awesome. So yeah, it's good to meet you tonight. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
You too. And have a great night, you two. Cheers.
All right, keep up the work.
My drinks are empty.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, no worries. Have a good night.
We'll talk with you soon.